so. Anyway, you can continue, right?
Finance and accounts, resolution 44, 2023, be it resolved that the financial statement for February 2023 be referred to council. We have a mover, please.
Grant.
Grant, seconder. Darren. Any question on those statements? You have a copy of them, you want to look at them?
Okay, we have a budget meeting after this, so I'll go into details more if you have questions about this then, but that's pretty straightforward.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Resolution 45, 2023, be it resolved that the accounts check number 29,445 to check number 29,517 totaling $3,281,140.32 and direct deposits withdrawals totaling $59,509.34 be approved for payment. We have a mover, please. Seconder, Robbie. Any questions on any of those checks, anyone?
There's a couple school tax, hence the 3 million. That's why it's so high.
That's the big one.
Yeah, that's depleting our bank account pretty big, so. Other than that, everything was sent out, so.
Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
I'm gonna go see if Rachel's here.
Rachel, where?
I'll go get it.
Okay, thank you. I think Stella said she pulled up, so. Is everybody, good to stay for budget after, or?
No, I gotta go see the surgeon after.
Okay, that's fine. Okay,
I might,
it's
need
not
a
gonna
printout
be,
to go and
yeah, I mean, we'll just go over actuals and
Yeah,
a
no,
few
that's
things
good.
and then
do as
shouldn't
much
be
as
too
I can.
long.
Rachel?
Morning.
Hi, Reed.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Morning, Rachel.
Another day in paradise?
Just another day of paradise, you betcha.
For 12 hours.
Oh, you, Rena?
Good.
Good, but on a normal day, it's great. After the big 0 sleep day Saturday, it's like,
Planning board matters, resolution 46, 2023, be it resolved that council adjourn its regular meeting at 9:05 a.m. for the purpose of holding a public hearing regarding applications for a variation order. We have a mover, please.
Welcome.
Seconder. Seems good. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Go ahead, Rachel.
I brought a package for everyone on this variation order, so. That way, and so that way.
Other one here for Trish.
I've got
Oh,
my
you got
stuff,
one?
yeah.
There should be a package for you this time.
You got one, Dallas?
there's one.
I printed it off just in
You got
case.
next one?
Yep.
I can, here,
Oh,
there we go.
Perfect, so this is variation order 3 of 23 for NCL. This is an application attached to a subdivision. So the subdivision itself is 4155-22-8476 for Brandon Maintenance Services, or Jim Koch, I think is how you say his last name. So this application is to, again, the subdivision was to cut a larger agricultural parcel that had a residence, or 2 residences technically on it. And it's also to remove the, I think it's, what did we say? The parcels are very close together in size, so one is 32.28 and the other is 37.72. So the residual parcel is going to remain agricultural, and as we know, anything under 80 acres requires a variation order to allow for the establishment of a rural parcel that's not a typical parcel. So the residual parcel is going to be sold off to a third party. It is going to be used for seed plots for an agronomist, if I'm not mistaken. So again, typically we would also do a conditional use order for residents out in the country, but there is already a standing conditional use order. There's actually 2. One was established in 2009 and then one was revised in 2011 for a residential care facility. So it's the only reason why we're not applying a conditional use order on top of this as well. because there's already one standing, so. This is along 351. Trying to think, what is the municipal road there?
Camp Hughes Road.
Yeah, it's
so
Camp Hughes Road.
Oh, God.
Across from Robbie's Drive there.
Yeah.
You betcha, yeah,
I just know it's Camp
It's on the
Hughes
way
Road.
down to Camp Hughes. there.
yeah. Not necessarily a typical subdivision, but a very typical condition for a subdivision.
This doesn't fall in that area where they gotta do the checking for artifacts and stuff.
So technically it does, but the fact that the land is going to remain agricultural, there is no plan for development or further disturbance of the ground. So if it were to change over and the third party were then to sell it off for a yard, yeah, we would ask that they do some ground exploration where the site was going to be developed, but there's no talk of that in the subdivision, so they didn't apply the condition from the Historic Research Branch.
Any questions for Rachel on that then? We have nobody raised their phone in or
No, I
anything?
never.
I've had no communication. We've had some discussions from adjacent landowners about wanting to further develop their land, but nothing in relation to this.
So this is gonna be seed plots?
On that sand.
Yeah, this land doesn't work currently, is it?
Well, it's hay, it's
yeah.
grass. They pasture it, or they cut the hay and then put cows in it.
Yeah,
And Rob, just tell them if they want some soil, I've got lots.
Well, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's all there, it's all sand, right?
yeah.
So I mean, it's just kind of
Not
strange.
full of those, what is that, the leafy spurge?
No,
No?
no, they cut it enough, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So the initial subdivision application, basically it lays out, purchaser is for our agronomy, who will grow product to showcase their product. That's the way that's written, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not the best chunk of land for this, but again, it's a small parcel, and if it's simply small plots, it shouldn't be too bad.
Maybe it is, they're gonna show you how to grow dry
It's true,
land.
yeah.
You're wrong.
You never know.
There, there's great ones too.
So like what happens, say they're gonna build on it, can they
So-
build on it?
Yeah, so in the case of, for our agronomy, doing their seed plots for a few years and then selling it off to another third party, if it were to be developed, we would allow an additional yard site to be put in, but very specific to one yard site, and again, as mentioned, if there is the possibility of disturbing the ground, we would probably ask that they do some exploration, because we know Camp Hughes is a known area for artifacts. Other than that, we wouldn't allow further cutting of rural residential in the area, just because again, the proximity to the bull test station in this location is too close, but we would have no grounds to say no to a single yard site.
But it couldn't be kind of developed along with Dane subdivision.
No, that is rural residential, and the two larger parcels that are backing up against that property are actually too close, so we could never actually develop those into rural residential either, so. North Cypress-Langford's got larger setbacks from to designated areas and individual yard sites, so we would be very close for this parcel for a yard site. We would have to really work with the applicant about where that house could go in, just due to the proximity
Right,
to
okay.
the
No, I
bull
just-
test station. Yeah, as far as I know, the bull test station, its historic numbers are about 1,000 or 1,000 bulls in the bull test station is what I don't think I've ever seen that number, but that's what their historic number is, so.
Not these days, no.
Yeah, so we wouldn't reduce it unless there was grounds to, so with that stepping out from the bull test station, we've got quite a bit of distance to go, so.
Any more discussion on that then? We'll move out of camera here now. Resolution 47, 2023. Be it resolved that the public meeting regarding a variation order will be adjourned at
9:12.
a.m. and the regular meeting of council resumed. By mover Robbie, seconder please.
Grant.
Grant. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Resolution 48, 2023, be it resolved that council approve the variation order number P0323 NCL for Brandon Maintenance Services, owners of property legally described as PT Northeast 9714 WPM in the Municipality of North Cypress-Langford, located west of Carberry along PTH 351 and Camp Hughes Road, to reduce the minimum site area of an agricultural parcel within the AG Agricultural General Zone residual parcel from 80 acres to 32.2 acres in an AG Agricultural General Zone. Subject to the following conditions. Approval of this order is a condition of subdivision CPS 4155228476. Go ahead and mover, please. Roddy?
Yeah,
Seconder?
Oh,
Harold?
but isn't it,
Any questions on any of that?
See, I think,
isn't that that's 80 acres there, but isn't it only like 68?
Yeah, so actually we've got two different errors in this.
yes, yeah.
So, well, actually, the 80 acres isn't an error. So 80 acres is the typical agricultural size. So that would be the number we have to vary down from
Okay.
the zoning,
Right.
zoning bylaw.
So it'd be like 60,
Okay, no, we're right. Again, I apologize. These numbers, we don't typically see 37 and 32,
Yes.
like they're very close together. So I just want to make sure that we've got the right numbers, but 80 is the residual parcel that we are dealing with. Again, that's why we've got residual parcel written in there a few times. So the 32.28 acres is correct.
Okay.
Okay, Roddy?
yeah, no, I saw that 80 acres, I didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, it is technically, the parcel
It's
itself
80, okay.
is 70,
70,
but
yeah.
we have to vary
Okay.
it down from the number,
For me,
from 80,
From
Yeah.
the 80,
yeah, because that's the way the zoning bylaw is written.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Spruce Woods Colony, RC 0123 NCL, Resolution 49, 2023. Be it resolved the council had received a temporary road crossing application for number 0123 NCL for Spruce Woods Colony to allow the installation of an 8-inch diameter aluminum water pipe within the municipal culverts at the intersections of Highway 5 and Municipal Roads 72 North and 73 North. Subject to the following conditions, that a road crossing agreement is entered into between the municipality and Spruce Woods Colony, that the applicants follow the road crossing policy as directed. We have a mover, please.
welcome,
Malcolm, seconder.
Grant.
Any questions on that?
We discussed this at our road committee meeting, those of us who were here, I think it was just me, Robbie, and Malcolm actually. But really, there aren't any concerns on our end too much. It's the fact that if they were to damage our road, then they're responsible
You
for
betcha.
They're the pipes.
And the pipes,
Pipes,
yeah,
okay.
and that's part of that agreement as well.
Yes.
I think,
Is
so
there a time restriction in the agreement?
I don't know.
We can put one in,
We can
like,
put one in.
Yeah, typically we don't see temporary requests, so they had requests, or basically they had said about 3 months is what they were looking
Yeah.
for, so we can put a timeline into
Come on in.
the agreement. And again, that's probably a good idea, and then what we would do is we would notify them leading up to the end of their timeline,
Yeah.
and kind of start the discussion with them if they need more time. Again, most of this is, or all of this is dependent on the weather in the spring that we get, so we'll put in the timeline and then have them reach out to probably the public works foreman.
Yeah.
For that. I have been chatting with Joel, and they did receive permission from Highways
Okay.
to utilize all their culverts, so.
Right.
And we would take a copy of that as well, as part of the permit app, so.
Okay.
Well,
Just, just for municipal concern, I do that road every day, so I can, plus the colony, they have a water rep that checks
Yeah.
out every day, so there shouldn't be any concerns. If there is a leak, it'll be fixed that day.
I'm pretty sure this is just to get to a new piece of land that they're gonna
Yeah.
put water on.
Yeah.
You're just going up this
Yeah,
twilight there.
Yeah.
My only concern is like human nature, they'll use it for 3 months, but they won't be in any hurry. Once they're not using it, it won't be high priority for them to remove it.
Right.
Needs to be
Still
removed
there,
by
Yeah, it's gotta be
first of
up
November or something.
Yeah.
before the snow flies, right?
Yeah.
For skidoos and.
Mark down to the 2023 growing season, removal no later than October 15th, and it meets the middle of the two.
Yeah.
yeah, or October 1st.
Yeah.
I have asked for a copy of the highways permit,
Yeah.
and they generally also list out expectations, so we'll ensure that we have a timeline in there, and then I'll flag it.
What do we do
Here.
with other ones in the municipality for timelines, for other people with pipes in the ditch? What do they, we got any?
They're on
Thing in-
temporary though.
Well, this is temporary too.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying the ones that we do, they're not temporary. We're talking about like when they get it in.
No, the ones that I see laying along number 5 highway up here with the aluminum pipe going down the road, what's rules on theirs?
Did they get a pass, like, did they get a permit?
If they got a permit,
Oh,
we need
if they're on
consistency.
highways, yeah,
for-
they'd have to get a permit.
Yeah, so if it's or adjacent to Highway 5, that would be a highways
Yeah.
permit.
Okay.
Right.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that,
But you're just,
Yeah.
you're meaning like,
Municipal.
just in general?
Yeah, like, well, no, the ones that are laying on top of the ground.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
one north here about 3 miles, goes across and then maybe goes east. Or maybe it's underground from there and it's just above ground to go through the highway, is
there
it?
are a few locations in the municipality that have pipe laying above ground.
But it should be consistent here. If we're gonna make these guys, then we should be doing consistency
So
with everybody.
typically we don't see the applications for the temporary pipe.
I know.
It's something that we can start enforcing a little bit harder, but it's really hard to go back to someone who's had pipe for a number of years and basically tell them that they have to remove it. So, we can start looking into it, but I
Well,
would
it's just
be,
for consistency, because if these guys come back and say, well, if he doesn't need it, why do I need it?
for sure, no, and the one location I can think of, I think it also falls out of the jurisdiction of the municipality. I do believe it's only 351.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, anywhere where it's highways jurisdiction, they can allow things that set precedents for the municipality that aren't something that we can really argue with. But I agree, the last thing we want to do is create an issue where we've got people questioning, so. The guys from Sprucewood Colony, they've been fairly easy to work with, and the fact that they're applying for a temporary installation is huge, so.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Go down to Rogers Communications Inc., telecommunications facility, you got something there, Trish?
Yeah, I do. Just a second here.
This is all up in the very northeast corner, up by her.
Yeah, well, they're looking at,
3 or 4 stations up there.
yeah,
Can't believe they're putting that many towers or whatever in such a small area.
so I can just, well, this is the email I received. This is from Evolve Surface, so we've been asked by Rogers Communication Inc. to look for an additional location to place the telecommunications facility in the Municipality of North Cypress-Langford, Municipality of Glenella Lansdowne area. There are 3 parcels inside the search area that are within the Municipality of North Cypress-Langford's jurisdiction, and the other 19 fall within the rural Municipality of Glenella Lansdowne jurisdiction. All these types of facilities fall under federal regulatory process and are federally approved. There is some criteria that we need to follow as per Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. A proponent, Rogers in this case, must reach out to the municipality to advise that we are exploring the area and obtain any preliminary concerns from the LUA, so we can use those to help place a tower in the location that the municipality feels they can support, provide concurrence. Initially, we approached the municipality where the search area is found and request preliminary comments, basically wanting to know if there are any concerns should a tower be placed somewhere within the search area. The next step is to find a location by reaching out to the property owners and finding a willing landowner. Once that's complete, we create a sketch for the proposed location and send that to municipality for some site-specific preliminary comments. We mitigate any concerns at that time and then finalize our assessment package and send it to Rogers so they can review the location for a more technical perspective. Once they approve the location, we sign a tentative lease agreement with the property owner and begin the public consultation. I'm hoping that you could review and advise of any preliminary concerns that you might have. Should a telecommunications tower be placed somewhere within the search area, that area is shown within the below image and represented by this red circle. I will. So, can I pull it up? I don't think I can. Morning. Come on and sit down. I don't know if you guys can see that. Sorry, it's kind of hard.
You want to come up here, Neil?
So this is the area that they've circled off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Around one,
Those
you
three
know.
pins on the very left-hand side are the ones in North Cypress-Langford.
Yeah.
I've snowmobiled on all those locations. They all know exactly where those pins
Yeah.
are.
So, yeah, she's left the candidates' parcels highlighted and added pins to try to help give you some targeted feedback should you feel the need. At this stage, we need to know if there are any areas that you feel you would be able to support and what zoning classification the parcels are. We use those comments to guide us to the best parcels to start with. If you have no preliminary comments to provide, an email stating it just works as well. Additionally, I was hoping that you could advise us of what, if any, process there is for requesting concurrence from municipality for a federal regulated telecommunications facility. As these sites are federally approved by Innovation Science and Economic Development Canada, both the municipality and the proponent are to follow the federal CPC 2-0-03 process attached. If the municipality does not have a documented process policy specifically dealing with these types of installations, with this said, does a telecommunications specific policy exist for municipality North Cypress-Langford? If so, could you please kindly provide that to them? So I have sent this to you, I believe, so hence why it's in the planning. Yeah.
So we just finished providing a comment actually to Karen Patterson for Glenbrook, South Cypress. They made the same request. They're looking at putting in a tower down by Stockton. What we did is we provided comment from the planning district on behalf of the municipality, which is what I would propose in the same situation. And we just, basically what we did was we laid out all the requirements from the zoning bylaw. Basically it stipulates that if the tower is going to go in, it has to be so far away from a residence and a municipal road, so that if the tower were to come down, it's not going to come down on top of property or on top of a municipal road. We also laid out specific guidelines. Now in this one, she did provide quick details, which we did not have down in Glenbrook, about the actual tower height and the installation specification. So again, we know that, it's steel lattice guide tower. We didn't have that down south. So we laid out some other requirements in that letter. So what I would do is verify that the letter is exactly the same to North Cypress-Langford and then provide it out to Karen again.
Okay, perfect. Okay. It's good.
So we need a reply to him to that then, or is it just information?
It's just more information.
Okay.
Do we have a specific policy? She asked there, eh?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
We have quite a bit of documentation in the zoning bylaw.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
yeah.
so we don't have, North Cypress-Langford doesn't have a standalone policy, but we do have.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, it's in the zoning.
You betcha.
So what if if they pick a spot and there's a neighbor that doesn't want it there?
What's their fight?
So as long as the tower is set back properly for the zoning bylaw, so it's not gonna come down onto their property, their adjacent neighbor's property, or across a roadway, it's really hard for a dispute. But again, I don't know North Cypress, I didn't look into it that carefully to figure out if it was a conditional use order or not. I don't think it is, as long as it falls into the right setting. So in this area, we don't have any concern with it being close to an urban center. We have a bit of issue with Stockton about the proximity there, but that would be the primary concern. So if they are required in North Cypress-Langford's bylaw to apply for a conditional use order, we would open it up for a public hearing and notify the adjacent landowners. So.
Where they're looking at putting them up there, Robbie, there's no houses on the NCL side. The closest one would be to the south. I think, if I'm correct, is one Budenhofer's. He's about a mile south of that. highway corner between two.
I'm just wondering, right, like,
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
Yeah, we do have requirements where, if the tower is to go in, that the site is fenced off so that we don't have people or any concerns with, liability if someone's climbing it. But then again, we always strongly suggest that if someone is going to enter into a lease agreement with, another organization, especially something that's federally regulated, that some sort of, lease agreement is signed and developed between the landowner and the applicant, so.
I can't
Grant,
see
you
that.
have a comment?
Yeah, one question, just one tower or how many towers?
I think these are just all potential sites for
Site.
the one tower.
Yeah.
One tower.
Might not be at any of these, so.
Yeah, so by the wording here, it's,
Yeah.
between North Cypress and Glen
Glen
Lansdowne,
Lansdowne.
we're looking at one tower. I just don't quite know what location it's
I
gonna
don't know where
be.
they should put it.
Anyway,
A lot of it will depend on topography.
Yes, topography and site access.
okay, that's just for information only anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Neil, you're up. Sorry we're a few minutes late.
Thanks, I'll take it.
You're up to the table here.
I have nothing else, there wasn't anything else for planning?
I don't have anything, nope, unless you did.
No, we've, quick update on the zoning bylaw, we've got them back from the consultants, I went through them, and I've sent them back off to Devon to review, so.
Oh, good.
Everything should be cleaned up and ready to go. They're just figuring out maps, we had altered that one location on the map with the agricultural limited around, or further north there, so just waiting for those to get back, and then we will proceed into the next stage of the zoning bylaws.
thanks, Rachel.
Thanks,
That's
Rachel.
Our zoning bylaw meeting has been pushed to next week because of Glenborough's, budget meeting this week.
What time?
7 o'clock in Glenborough.
Okay.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock Thursday,
Is that the phone number?
23rd.
I'll keep one.
I sent you that presentation.
Yeah, I got it here, yeah.
That's next Thursday, 16th?
Yeah.
Or no, not 16th.
23rd.
23rd, yeah.
Should be 23rd.
Yep,
In Glenborough at the fire hall.
thank you.
I make no promises I can get that coffee machine that's been coffee.
You figured it.
Oh, I did you
Go
too.
for it.
Have a good day.
Good.
Take
Thank
care.
you, Rachel.
Thank you.
You want more pins?
Nope.
There's a break and shove those in the truck too.
Oh, boy. How do I do this?
Apparently I can't spell either. Cinnamon's a little interesting. Fingers got
It's a
going,
new district.
fingers got going faster than my brain there.
Glad you picked that up. I don't know how many other ones are affected.
Do you want me to turn the lights off or what works best? You go ahead, Neil,
Whatever
and
you want to do,
okay,
doesn't matter.
you guys can see that, I'm sure. All right.
Yeah, so for those that don't know me, I'm Neil Lusky with the Central Assiniboine Watershed District, and our office is in Boulder. So we've got kind of just the south end of the RM. So I've just kind of done a little presentation together, kind of what our funding is, kind of where our main sources of funding come from, and then what we've done with some of that money, so.
Maybe we'll go around the table and
Oh,
introduce
okay.
everybody first here.
Rod Vancouver? Welcome, Larry.
Trish Fraser, see you?
Grayson.
Harold Tolton.
Grant Jardine, Ward 3.
Good, let's meet you guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so our annual core funding, which is about 550,000, so for every dollar we get out of the RM, the province matches with 3 to make up that amount of money there. So our external funding partners, kind of our biggest ones are the GROW Fund, which is that Growing Outcomes and Watershed, that provincial trust fund the province put together in 2020, I believe. And then the new Prairie Watershed Climate Program, which is the federal kind of on-farm climate action fund. So that's how much we had spent up to about 6 weeks ago. We're kind of closer to about 800,000 on that one right now.
Good for you.
It's kind of a big, it's a pretty big program, so we're getting a lot of people interested in it, which is good.
Started getting their checks yet?
Our first round of checks came last week.
They did, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was talking to Robbie last week and it was, he was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Lots of people are applying, but there's not much.
I know, I had some
funds.
people asking, well, in our side of the watershed too, to like, if there's,
Yeah.
what kind of, not guarantee, but what are the odds that everything's gonna be put through? Because there's some people that are very interested, but it's stuff they really wouldn't go for unless they kind of sure it was coming back.
What I usually kind of suggest people that are thinking that way is apply on a quote. So if you wanna do an equipment upgrade,
Right?
get a quote, and then we'll put it through, and if it's approved, then you could say it's approved, then you can go and do it. But you're only approved at the number on the quote, so if the price goes
Right.
up.
Okay.
But that's how we've been doing it, I mean, try to take some of the pressure off producers, so.
Just
With
give a
the
phone
dam,
call.
the price usually goes up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they can get a quote, then they can have the company just build in, you know, a couple percent inflation, whatever they wanna do.
Right.
So some of our more popular programming is rotational grazing well establishment. So that one's pretty popular. We provide a $1,000 rebate. I know it's not that much, but we try to encourage properly drilled encased wells. Because right on the aquifer, lots of people can just backhoe and shove a culvert in the ground. So we want to actually make sure that we're getting approved well driller out there to drill them in and put a well casing down and make sure it's all sealed up properly. Alternate watering systems. And then our class 1 and 2 wetland program has been pretty popular, kind of on the west side of the district. There's lots of wetlands over there. And then livestock and machinery crossings, small dams, erosion control, grassed waterways, beaver deceivers were quite popular last fall. Beaver seem to multiply quite well with all this rain. Cover crops, that's quite popular too with the potato guys. I know they were supposed to be planting cover crops in fields that are going to be growing potatoes, but on all the other acres, we can kind of go into them and say, you know, we can help you with a little bit of incentive to get some cover on those, just to keep it from wind blowing, so. Yeah,
Neil, do you have a pamphlet, so I can go around and?
yeah, we'll touch on this here, so we're done here, sorry. And then shelter belts, and I want to touch on shelter belts at the end of this again. And then well capping and well shocking, so we'll shock a well if somebody's well tested and their sample fails, we'll come out and shock it for them. Hopefully that'll finish it up. And then the number, over the last couple of years, those are the numbers of projects that we've completed, so quite a few small dams and maintenance and erosion control structures. Gully stabilizations, crossings, and then there's kind of the wells. So I'll just run through two of the projects that we've done. So this is a small dam north of Brandon. You can see Forest kind of down the left-hand corner. So it's just east of Highway 10. So it's a small dam that we put in. The reason we kind of looked in this area is Cornwallis, the arm of Cornwallis is just below #1 highway to the south, and they have a lot of flooding issues. And a number of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Elton joined the watershed district program, so we were able to work kind of in the headwaters, where that's where we have to work in order to get these projects to help out Cornwallis. So you can just click ahead, I'll show.
Yeah.
So there is kind of the start of the dam. So there, that just shows the T-in trench. So we'll fill that in with clay and then build up from there, and hopefully that'll stop the water from getting underneath it. And the next slide is kind of the finished project. So what we just looked at is that earth, black soil there to the left, and then the spillways, all the rocks there coming down. And then the producer also has livestock. And then he wants to integrate his neighbor's livestock in too to get kind of more of a multi-use system. So we provided some funding through that Prairie Watershed program to put rotational grazing in that field. So he just drives between the posts as he's farming it. And then we put a fence up and a watering system so he can graze it all year.
Quite happy over here, sorry.
And this is an erosion control project that we did along just north of Cypress River.
Sorry.
On the Cypress River, so you can see the back cutting up from the ravine. So it's taking all the trees and stuff in. So kind of what we do here, I'll show you on the next slide. Thanks.
Yep.
So we put a berm up, so the water holds back in the field, and we'll run it through a chunk of tile drain. It's the same stuff that you'll see in the fields that all the feeder tubes feed into. And then we run it down through the hard wall pipe down to try to run the water through the pipe over the slope of the ravine. Just kind of takes the erosion risk out. So the next slide, so this is the downward, the outlet side of that project. So if there's lots of slope, we'll have this come into a pile of rocks, so the water comes out of the pipe, hits the rocks, then it takes all the velocity of the water out, so it just kind of trickles through instead of starting to erode down below, but this way we're able to get away with the erosion mats. And then we have to put a grate on them because we get skunks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is the upstream side, so we'll anchor those. We've put a few in and realized when you're burying that much pipe, they tend to want to vibrate on you. So we've had to anchor some of them in.
Oh, is that it?
How big's your anchors?
They'll go on the ground about 3 feet.
So you're well into clay then?
Yeah. Well, those are very sandy spots, so there's not much clay there, but we do our best. And you think I would have been smarter about that vibrating, I was warned of that many times.
Now you know.
Just thinking like casings and, what casings in and salmon.
Sometimes we'll do, if we're building a dam, we'll put cement in. Yeah. Dad told me many times, "Don't vibrate on you." I thought I was smarter.
Your dad would know.
We learned that back in 2001 with the explosion in Brookdale.
Oh, yeah.
They do vibrate.
Yeah, so Jen, just to, the handout that I gave, so this is the program brochure. So it kind of lists our more common programs. And then there's just the fact sheets on the Prairie Watershed Climate Program and the Grow program, just how we kind of put our own little twist to some things, so the information's all there, and if you know anybody that's interested, or you can think there's somebody that we should phone, I'm not opposed to giving someone a call or just stopping in and just kind of share what we have to offer.
We're in the midst of developing our new website, so
Okay.
I'm gonna make a certain section for your district as
Okay.
well, so that we can link that,
Sure.
yeah.
And I really appreciate you guys share stuff on your social media.
Absolutely, yeah.
It helps, it's amazing how many people follow
Yes.
both social media pages, so.
Is there any money in the budget to put it on Twitter or Facebook or?
We have Twitter and Facebook pages, but we lack the social media, sometimes knowledge of how to get those things to work properly.
Yeah, we share quite a few things,
Yeah.
like when Neil sends me things, I share it on our home page.
Yeah, we get way more.
It's just the age group of 40 and less, they're all on Facebook and
Yeah.
Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff for our generation aren't.
No, for sure.
Did you guys have a managers meeting this week?
Yeah, last week.
Yeah. Did you talk about MAW needing more help to get the WCP applications through?
And we talked about a number of things.
Yeah.
They just let us take some of that on
Yeah.
with no more funding, or if they get another staff
Well, they
person.
need another staff, but there's also money available for the districts too to hire an assistant, so.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, so it'd be nice if, because we're gonna need a full-time if this program extends. And they're getting more into the agricultural background, which a lot of us aren't. Didn't go to school for that, so it's kind of foreign a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, because you needed an agronomist almost to
Yeah.
cycle through some of those applications, but that, I think MAW had set aside money for communications and they don't need it as much. So they were gonna split that up, wasn't it, for the districts, like 45 or something?
You would know more about the ins and outs of that, I think,
No, I
than I would.
Okay.
They just give us one big budget number and they
Yeah.
don't share too much, so.
You have a MAW meeting tomorrow.
We're gonna meet tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll come up at it, so just give white man support, I guess.
Well, that's what we were hoping is, I think, if we're gonna extend the PWCP program, we need some more funds.
Yeah, and they're gonna need somebody to enter all those things. too,
Yeah,
'cause
that's all
why-
on the agenda.
But some guys have been waiting 8 months for the check, it's coming through now, I guess, but the first applications in, we're almost backlogged there, so.
Well, a new program and they're learning all the way through it, yeah.
Yeah.
Good program.
Awesome.
Just for clarification too, what sub-districts are in North Cypress-Langford? You know, Epinette Willow, that's.
Yeah, I think that's the only one.
The only,
Yeah.
yeah.
We got Tom Barron on for that, and
Yes.
are you on?
I don't think so.
Oh, Harold's on.
Harold,
You on Central Assembly?
Yeah.
Just a quick question.
Yep.
The programs you have are often through watershed. Can you apply through, for BMP to the 24-hour Advantage program and still apply through watershed for the same funding on the same project?
No,
No double dipping.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to ask for.
it's the same pot of money, so you can't apply twice.
That's what I was
Nola
wondering.
is doing the same thing, but this is, it's the same program.
Same program, just two different people pushing it, okay. Okay,
Can't
that
apply
way I
for
can
the
just, I know there's people that have applied for this big low 4R. I just wondered if they could apply for any more funding under this.
If it's a different BMP or on a different piece of land, you can,
Okay,
but you can't apply for the same management practice on the same piece of land.
okay, oh, perfect.
Just to kind of make, you know, if this group offers 10 grand and this group offers 10 grand, you can't apply for maybe 20.
Yeah, that's what I was just asking, yeah, okay, perfect. I know, right? Carol.
But I know, like the watershed district program is a little bit better than the canola council's program. So a lot of people have been phoning us first and saying, well, I noticed that this program offers a little bit higher end, so.
Okay.
They did change the nitrogen management though, didn't they? It's gotta be dual coated or dual action now,
Yeah.
so that's a little unfair to some of the people who have just applied, but.
Well, anything up to April 1st, you're good.
Okay,
But anything after April 1st,
Oh, good.
you can argue that.
so that's for nitrogen inhibitors, they pay up to 85% of the cost to apply that.
Yeah,
And now, they're saying it has to be slow release and super or an inhibitor.
yeah, I know what you mean. I just applied for that last week. And I still got it under the process, so I was able to get this, have to go with Super U.
Okay.
I heard they were talking about doing the dual.
But you got to wait for
For 85% of applications.
And after April 1st, so if you bought it before April 1st, you should still be good. So call the watershed and get the details on how to do that,
You
yeah.
regularly read it.
A phone call is
25 a ton.
Yeah.
Super U is $8.95.
I
So
know
I'll
we
get
talked
85%
about
of
shelter belt
the.
Yeah.
So it's about 15 grand
program,
for two Super
like,
Bs.
Go ahead over here, you guys.
yeah, no, I just,
Sorry.
like, we do have a shelter belt reserve for the municipality, so
Okay.
we have, basically the understanding is that, you know, if you buy trees through White Mud right now, the residents will bring the invoice, to us, and then we will reimburse according to what our, the foot, I guess, how many feet it is, and what then maintenance costs as well for that, so,
Okay.
I mean, I don't see why we couldn't do the same for Central Assiniboine. It's just the shelter belt reserve, so I
Sure.
mean, we are partnered with you guys, so that would make sense that we would, you know, partner with you as well on that, because I
Yep,
think it's
with you.
understanding that shelter belts are important, so,
Yeah, they're more, they're getting ripped out,
Yeah.
more they get put in, so.
yeah, so we can, like, we are, next year, I'm gonna discuss a bit more with White Mud as well, and you guys, when we get 2024, and then we'll
Sure.
get into discussions with that, because it is there to use, so, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great, I'll chat with Rodney a little bit more and see what's working for them.
Yeah, we haven't been advertising as much as we should for that, but it is available, and it's people have used it in the past, and they seem to like it, so, yeah.
Just one quick, on shelter belts, what's the grant, is it per mile or is
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but.
For North Cypress rebate, once you pay watershed for putting in your trees, you bring your invoice here, and I think it's $750.
$7.50, yeah, a mile, yeah. And if you've got maintenance, like sometimes people pay for the maintenance part of it, we cover that as well. I think it's $250 towards the maintenance, but if you don't, then
1 year for
for
sure,
the
I think.
1 year, yes. I have the program, I think I've advertised it on our Facebook page or our website, but I can give you the details if you need. Yeah.
What else we forget?
That's it. Unless you have any hard questions for me, right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Neil.
thanks for the information.
No problem, thanks for fitting me in early, even though I was late.
That's all right, no worries.
Never late.
So Better late than never.
Right on.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you, Neil.
Have a good day, thanks.
Thanks for the pens.
Not a problem. Take care.
Nine.
I got two.
I got 6.
Six.
Not that important.
Never know. You come and sign checks. Well, the bylaws. Bylaw 1, 2023, Carberry Transfer Station Fees. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 2023, to set the Carberry Transfer Station fees and charges be read a third time and hereby be passed and signed and sealed by the reeve and CAO and become law. This is a recorded vote. Have we got any discussion on that first? We've done all of our
Yeah, you
discussion.
guys are familiar with this? Yeah. Robbie, no?
No, I missed last
This
week.
is just so it's the charges at the Carberry transfer station, so it's shared fees with the town.
Yeah.
It's the same bylaw the town's passing. The only thing we changed is that we are charging every time now for the roll-off bins, and it's $300. I have the bylaw in front of me here.
Per ton.
Per ton,
Per
yeah.
ton.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's changed in that bylaw. And then, there's fees in there as well for shingle dumping,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. I can send you a copy of it, but the bylaw will be put on our website as well.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
And Chris Enra, like once, depending on what happens, he's gonna reiterate this like as of when it's passed, and then it will start as of like today, basically, or tomorrow, I guess, but, yeah.
Okay. Recorded vote. Grayson, 4. Jardine,
4.
Murray,
4.
Davidson.
In favor, don't we need a mover and seconder?
Mhm.
We get one?
Well,
No. I was gonna tell you that, and you just kept talking.
Well, let's do the vote and then we'll do moving in a second.
Okay,
Is that okay?
sure.
Homestead,
4.
Van Comer,
4.
Dalton,
Or
we have a mover, please.
I'll move that. Sure.
Seconder,
Grant.
All good.
declare that carried then, thank you. Bylaw 6, 2022, Reserve Fund, MPP. Resolution 51, 2023, be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 2023, to establish a reserve fund for the mitigation and preparedness program hereby be read a second time and referred to the council. We have a mover,
No.
seconder. Robbie.
I can explain this one a little bit. So back before the new council came in, we had a reserve bylaw that we had set up. There was no template provided by the province at the time, so I kind of just worded it as in like an emergency fund, emergency measures reserve fund, just for something regarding flood, that sort of thing. Now the province has actually done a template up, and I can at least use theirs, so I've revised the previous, we did do the first read for the last one. It's the same bylaw, so what this is doing is it's setting up a reserve fund based on the mitigation and preparedness program. So the preparedness program is provided by the government, which is, I've applied actually twice now and been approved both times for the 2020 flood and the past 2022 flood. So what it's doing is, since DFA doesn't cover all of our costs and it's based on our population basis, there's a deductible that's not covered. That deductible is provided by this program. So we have no projects set aside at this time for it. So Matt and I and council as well, when they're, hopefully the next couple of years or even this year if we want, if there is a project, so for example, we do have the bridge that we might be doing this year, that could come from this money as well, because it is mitigating and that does fall into that guideline. So this reserve is basically going to be set aside as your other reserves, so you'll see a new reserve added on your reserve fund page, and all the money that we received from the government, it already is put in there, but this is just setting that aside, and it's set for a specific purpose, so we can only use it for certain things. So same as any other reserve, and yeah, that's kind of the cool notes versions of that one. That makes sense to everybody, or? Okay. All right. I think I sent this out.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Sure. All right, so you got a mover and a
Okay.
second.
Any more discussion on that, anybody? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. 52, 2023, be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 2023, to establish a reserve fund for mitigation and preparedness program be read a third time and hereby be passed and signed and sealed by the Reeve and CAO and become law. We have a mover, please.
Davidson.
Davidson, seconder.
Grant.
Grant. Recorded vote. Grayson, 4. Jardine.
4.
Murray.
4.
Davidson.
Yep, for
Olmsted.
4.
Van Comer.
4.
Tolton.
4.
Call that carried. Thank you. Bylaw number 2, 2023, remuneration of members of council. Resolution 53, 2023, be it resolved that bylaw number 20, 2023, 2, for the purpose of fixing the remuneration of members of council pursuant to section 124 of the Municipal Act, hereby be read a first time being referred to council. Could I have a mover?
Sure.
Seconder. Questions?
I sent this out as well, I
This one?
believe.
Yep.
So this is just reflecting what your current indemnities are, just kind of updating our indemnity bylaw. The only thing that has changed would be, this section here, in regards to, in regards to a leave of absence, basically. So say somebody, or whoever, if it were to happen, that this time frame, it should, anyway, this does reflect if somebody were to leave, that reflects that for pay and that sort of thing as well. And then this is actually added in here too, just for payroll purposes. Teresa put it in here, so that an annual percentage increase to the monthly indemnity shall occur on the first day of the first pay period of each year following the passing of this bylaw, at a rate equal to an annual percentage increase for November to November, designated as the cost of living allowance for Manitoba. So that's what we do in our contract, so just reflecting same for you guys as well. And then also the expense reports, I've just kind of indicated that I would like to have those submitted no later than 1 week prior to the meeting, just to keep it all in order, so you'll be hearing from me, if you haven't already. Yeah, I got yours, Malcolm. Other than that, your phones are still on here at 50. Again, this is something that you guys can revise if you feel, something I did revise to is, so it was at $15 for lunch and breakfast. I upped that due to the past convention. Breakfast was insane, and so I feel that $20, actually I looked at other bylaws as well, and that's what they have done with their councils too, so. And the $125 still remains for your each day that you're for convention, that's what you guys get. Yeah, but if you have any questions, I mean, now's the time, or if you're okay with this, then perfect. Your phones, like I said, are $50 a month. I keep that pretty, I'll make sure that that's all reimbursed to you too, if you've forgotten. I'm pretty good at that, but.
Any idea what other councils do on hourly rates? 15,
Somebody was doing I
Is
don't
that
know if it was
decent
Glenville.
or not, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if somebody was doing, do you mean like, just like what you get paid hourly? That you-
Yeah, your hourly.
Your
like,
indemnity,
it's
yeah.
15 there, like, is that a fair number compared to other municipalities, or?
I've looked at this, there was a survey going out, I think it was MMA actually, like our association, because I think, and it was either it ranged between 15 and 17,
Okay.
but whether that's something you guys want to change, that's up to you. But that's, we're not, it's enough, I guess, but if you're looking at changing it, that's your guys' decision, not mine.
It was just a question.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions about this? It's a lot, but.
Normally on conventions and all that, I noticed that there was some RMs that didn't have the full contingent there. They just, they alternate. Would that be something for maybe savings of our taxpayers, or would we go with no?
I think when they have these conventions, they're important for everybody to go to, if you can. If you're gonna pick and choose who you send all the time, I think.
I said alternate.
No. In my mind, that's just my own opinion, but I think that's why they have it as a convention, is for people to go to.
Oh yeah, your mileage too. We upped the mileage last year to 60 cents too.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of what else we changed, that was pretty much it.
What's the minimum wage right now?
Oh, 17, what did we say? I can Google it right now.
It goes up here at the end of the month too, doesn't it?
It's up, isn't it, since last year? I'm not-
No, it's increased once, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was higher for some reason. Why did, oh no, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of what we just did for, never mind, my
No, I'm
mind's
just making
not.
sure that 15 wasn't more than the minimum wage.
No, it's not. So it does say here, like,
It will be October.
yeah, so 15, or 14 to 15 as of April
Okay.
Yes.
1st, so, but it does say 15
It's 15 in October, I
in
think.
October, yeah, so, I mean, where did I go here?
Well, I know I had one of the other municipalities make the comment that you guys are running the show and yet you're the cheapest paid on the block. Or they are.
Yeah.
You got staff that's 30, 40, whatever. You're getting 15. To me, I just throw those comments out there, I guess, but I don't expect you to get paid 30 or 40.
Well,
And you gotta keep with at least, there's gotta be something in there saying that you can't be under the minimum wage, that really, eh?
and this bylaw we change every year pretty
Every
much, I
year, do we?
find, to reflect, yeah, to
Okay.
reflect the wage. So if it's something you wanna relook at in, like, let's say October, then you can. It's also a first read, so if you guys, if you want, you know, we can make changes to this, and then after the second read, then obviously you can't. But if you wanna just give me your feedback in an email, and that's fine too, or whatever you think.
I think, yeah, we have to pursue into the second reading, but I just don't like vote myself for pay raise, you know, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you're, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is just a one-year contract, this is anyway, or is this for?
It's just, this bylaw is renewed annually, it should be renewed annually, so it just
Okay.
reflects your current, like, your indemnity will go up based on the COLA too, like, it's all reflected that way too, so we just like to keep it current is all, it's not,
Yeah, so we got the indemnity on top of the 15, so.
yeah. That's right, yeah.
I didn't get in this to make money.
Right,
I don't know.
Like,
We gotta cover our costs.
Business.
well, no, yeah, I understand. It just, like you said, how do you,
Yeah,
you
Vote
vote
yourself a raise.
without taking abuse?
and like I said, I did look at other municipalities, and 15 seems pretty standard across, like, for what rural, I guess. Some have looked at changing it, but it'd be like 16 maybe if they have.
maybe we should just, oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Go
Maybe we
ahead.
should just talk about percentage increase. I know Ray doesn't like that, I don't either, but, you know, if we can put it on paper, up to 1650 or up to 6, or whatever, council decides.
So what do you actually, like, I've only put down to go to that one meeting in the grader. Like, what else do you put in for?
If you, like, you're doing roads.
Any of your committee
roads, or your
meetings.
committee meetings, yeah.
You do for committee meetings too?
Meeting,
Oh.
meetings in
Oh.
years.
You didn't ask that question, I asked that a couple months ago.
I did not.
I
Yeah, like,
should've
you just
informed
put your hours on it, like, so say you spend
The day
2
you're
hours at the
reading
museum or
hours.
whatever, you put down 2
We've only
hours.
ever put what we did out of town, but.
I understood we could only do it out of town meeting,
I know,
That's
that
for
was,
mileage,
no hours.
or is it hours? Okay. What do we do here? Let me just look. Cause I'm just trying to, how about, I provide some more clarification on that, but I think there's a policy on top of this that, I don't have it in front of me either, because you're putting me on the spot here.
no, that's cool.
Once a meeting.
Which is fine, I just think, like, I know that some, like, for example, your watershed, or evergreen. I guess those are outside of our realm, right? So you put your hours down and your mileage.
Watershed's all watershed.
Well,
They're
all
not
of our
watershed.
meetings are outside of our municipality, we're in town of Carberry.
That's true, you're on. But I'm thinking of like arts and archives, like handyman, like all those ones are in town though, is what I'm thinking of. That's maybe why you haven't,
Right.
I'm thinking, yeah.
I was thinking of building a house in Langford too.
So, yeah, you'll get us clarification.
I will,
because
yeah,
that's-
yeah.
That's huge, right?
Right.
Like-
Yeah, I think it is outside meetings,
Because it's
yeah.
what, that's why we get our wage, I
Yeah.
would see, like for sitting
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
right?
Cause I think the indemnity covers you for
Covers your
those,
regular-
but anything like evergreen or library, whoever's on the library, you,
But it's same thing here, like you get, some people are going to 10 meetings a month.
Yep.
And the next person goes to 1.
Yep.
But you get the same,
I understand. Mm-hmm,
which to me is totally wrong,
yes.
but how, and that's why the $15 an hour
Yeah,
comes
that's
in.
what it comes in.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Like, I'm okay with what's right there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just,
I'll provide a bit more clarity on that too.
yeah, I just,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
wouldn't wanna see it below minimum wage. as well.
oh,
no,
no,
no.
like,
But like I said, we can relook at this again too in the next little bit as well. It's up to you guys what you wanna do if you're $15 an hour.
But I think the 15 is cool, it's just when we decide what all applies to the 15.
Yeah, so it says spent in their performance of duties, works, or services performed pursuant to resolution of council, so,
So that, right there, you know, is.
yeah.
Anyway,
Committees, yeah.
Which is, that hasn't been the understanding though, is it's outside,
Right.
yeah, the realm, but I get what you're saying too. Okay, let me look,
Right?
Yeah.
Just one more,
yeah,
you just provide us with a copy, so my mind goes wandering on off and I won't forget 2 months, so if I got a copy. I can use it.
yeah, no. And I mean, make sure that when you're going to the committee meetings, like keep track of that too in your I know most of you do, but write down your mileage, cause that's reimbursed too, so, okay. I'll provide some bit more clarity, but
Oh boy, we're on to thinking now.
well, I can't figure out, like, we get a payment, and I just don't know, like, what's that for, just for
when you get
sitting
your
there?
indemnity,
Yeah, like our bi-weekly,
so that's for your council meetings, like
phone
your,
calls.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like covering you as a
Public-
counselor
yeah.
basically for the,
okay,
for your duties, right?
okay, and then, so that's 15, if it is this way, then
That's for your.
sitting here,
Your other committee meetings.
Yeah,
like your
committee
council.
And apart from this meeting, it would be from your committee.
That was my understanding, but I mean, I don't know if that's,
okay, no, it's, I just,
maybe it
yeah,
hasn't
we
been
need
reiterated
some,
wrong, I guess.
we just need a little bit of a clarification.
I'll make sure that makes sense to me first, because I'm like, wait a minute, but does that make sense in general though, like
Yes.
of everything else?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I'll provide more clarity on the 15 and make sure, but I think it should be for all,
Okay.
like,
Why?
because your indemnity covers your council meetings
General meetings.
and your joint committee or count, that is one there, and then anything over and above, I think would be, I'll check, anyway. Thank you for asking that question.
We got a mover and a seconder for that, we did?
Yeah, you did.
Any more discussion on that?
We're good, right?
All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you.
I swear, like, I think there's a policy somewhere too that says more, but
I remember it being
There's
kind of
lots.
fuzzy even 5 years ago.
there, yeah, it was,
Mhm.
That's what I was told, was it was strictly for out-of-town meetings, it wasn't for
Yeah.
any council committee meetings, any kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of my understanding too, but, okay.
10 after 10 here, maybe we'll take a 5 or 10 minute break for that.
Sure, yeah.
Please, unfinished business, joint resolutions. Resolution 54, 2023, be it resolved that the joint committee agreed to hire Tamara Flatt as the Arts Council Director with the details outlined in the employment agreement. We have a mover,
I'd love to.
who's that?
Dallas, yeah.
Seconded by Harold. Any questions? You got any information on that?
So yeah, Tamara's local, she's
Yeah.
lived in Carberry for all of her life, and, she was the best applicant, so
Yeah.
she's eager to start, yeah.
Board is very
She
happy
just
to have
sent me
her
out her schedule, so that's good, and yeah.
All in
She
favor?
does know,
Opposed? Carried, thank you.
very upbeat, so she will do very well.
General business, land leases.
Okay, hang on a sec, I'm unorganized. Yeah, I'm carrying on Mr. Blair's, legacy here for land leases, cause that was his passion. So, I wanna know what council's plan is, I guess, we have all these, parcels of land that we are leasing currently. Everybody's got an agreement in place. There are a couple, that do not, so whoever leases it from us, we bill them out, they pay us, blah, blah, blah. There's been 2 occasions where we've had leases late for over a year now, and we just add them to their taxes, which is fine. But I guess what I'm asking is, so the land lease is currently, and I'm gonna show you a spreadsheet.
It does say if they're that late, you know, lease your privilege, right?
Yeah, so we have we did actually update our agreements. So what I'm wondering and what you guys have to decide is, we're not making, I guess, basically, it's either we sell these parcels for what they're worth, and then, and we obviously give the land lease, the person who's leasing it first opportunity, but we're not getting ahead on these, we're actually behind. So if you look at how much the taxes are, and how much we're charging them, we're not getting really much, or not breaking even with these. So it's more of a pain, and I'm just speaking on behalf of the administration side, for us to bill all these out, collect all the money, get the agreements in place, rather than if we tender these parcels out, sell them off, we're still collecting taxes on them, technically, right? So
Yeah.
we're charging, I can't remember how exactly this works, but we just updated these fees last year, I believe. So some parcels are obviously worth more than others.
Depending on the size.
Depending on the
There are
size.
half sections and quarters.
So like you'll see here, here's the
Half
section, half a section, so there's the taxes, there's the rate, like that's what we're charging on this. But I don't know how there's no formula in here, so it must be. Anyway, Teresa's asked me to bring this forward to you guys, because she's dealt with this, and just indicated that we're not getting ahead on these, we're actually losing money. So if we were to tender them out, we give the first opportunity to the ones that are leasing currently to buy them. There are, like I said, there are 2 people who lease from us that do not pay and have not paid, and we put them on their taxes. So, I think, and it's in
Why
there,
is their name still on it then, if they're not paying?
Well,
shouldn't
they
that
haven't
released to
been-
Somebody else?
well, we haven't given them any reprimand for it.
But they
So,
paid it when they paid their taxes.
well, actually, this last one, we added them after they had paid.
So you get it next year maybe.
So they'll get, either way, they do, like when they pay their taxes, they do pay it. It's
They
just,
have to get paid.
it's just, everybody else pays on time as per their policy, and then there's the other ones that, so I just wanna know what council, if you guys, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
How did the RM end up with these parcels of land?
We've always,
had them.
yeah, we've always had them.
Okay, so if we wanna sell them, you take Nealer at the top, Diath there, that half section. So, just saying that all of a sudden we're gonna go to them and say, like they've got that pasture, they've had it for how many years, and now we're gonna go to them and say, okay, we're getting rid of this land.
We have to give them a grace.
No, well, but say they can't afford it, but it's got their whole, like if we're gonna sell it for cost, right? What's pasture worth? $1,200,
Well, we
$1,500
sell
an
it
acre?
for assessed value.
Yeah, that's it. So I mean, all of a sudden you could be disrupting a whole farm
Oh, absolutely.
And
and a cattle farm. Like, I mean, my first thought was, absolutely, let's dump them if we don't need them, right? We want money, but then I got
on
thinking
paper
about
it
it.
looks good, but as
Yeah,
cattle
you're
folk,
looking at
it's.
people's livelihoods here.
That's
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
I mean, if it was only last 5 years or something, it's different, but if this, like,
Yeah.
how long have they had it, like forever?
Long time.
So,
Yeah.
well, like, we could ask them,
Sorry, Rob.
No.
Interrupt. Why don't we just make what we want to do first? And there's got to be at least a grace period and let the renters know that this land may or may not be for sale possibly in the future. Would that be something that we should do?
Any of this land, would the person pay that assessed value
Well,
of?
they're already paying,
Wow.
Well, they're paying the taxes.
but we could, like, that's what I mean, is we can,
what is the actual,
But they're not covering the taxes.
no,
That's-
but what's the
Yeah, I
actual,
would say at
like,
least
what should be
cover
on
the
there is the
taxes.
assessed value?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is their assessment, right? Like, what's that half
What's the
section
assessed
valued at?
What's that?
Probably more than it's worth.
Well,
Well, that's the
usually,
heck of it.
that's
That's
usually
the
the
thing,
case,
like,
yeah.
buying
But-
pasture right now is.
you know, like, maybe, they might, in that case, there might be somebody that says, absolutely, we wanna own that, we've always wanna own it.
Well, I can just, like, they're just, the thing, that's why I'm bringing this to you guys, is it's coming up this year for land leases.
Yeah,
So if I just sent out just a generic letter to all of them, just indicating, you know, municipalities looking at options, for this leased land, would
you be
would there be
interested
potential of you purchasing the property?
well, you can, like, I don't understand why.
It's kinda like getting feels on that, I
Yeah,
guess,
I don't understand why we're losing money on the lease anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that makes no
I would
sense.
say at least cover the taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean-
Bump it up and cover taxes.
That minimum, right?
Yeah,
And I mean, and a percentage over the taxes.
yeah,
I mean, cause you get a,
Originally, the last term when this first got looked at, David Blair found that these properties were being rented for literally peanuts, like
Yeah.
$150 per
Yes.
quarter. That was when he started reviewing every parcel and coming up with this
mhm,
dollar value to try to get them current, try to get them paying the tax amount. And that's why they had to be.
So it's been coming up.
It's been coming up and it's
Yeah.
getting to this point now. Because if I remember correctly, at the time, there were 2 or 3 residents that, as Robbie said, they weren't looking at, couldn't afford to buy the land and it would negatively affect their operation. That's why we continued to just basically stay where we were, lease them and see how it went as a trial period. The plan was always David's plan was to try to get it on a cost recovery plus covering the fee for the ladies, having to deal with each one of these through the office of about $50 to $100 per parcel. So
yeah.
that was kind of the hope and idea of it.
and how many is there? 6?
Parcels?
Yeah.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, you didn't go all the way down?
It's like a
1,
dozen.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
10.
10, 11, 12.
Yeah, some of them are half sections, some are
They're all
just
different,
quarters.
they're all
There's
different roll
probably-
numbers though,
Right,
like,
yeah.
so they're,
Probably 18 or 20 quarters there.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I would, my opinion is a letter to them in some capacity stating that, you know what, well, council is looking at options and selling these parcels is one of the options, and you would get first chance at it, and what's your thoughts?
Yeah.
Like,
And maybe the 2 that are consistently late, maybe firming the letter up a bit, saying that if you're not current, you will not be given options.
Yeah,
This
we
will be the
have-
last race here.
I just sent a letter to the last one, just indicating, you know, council will be, how did I word it, that we will be relooking at, or
Reevaluating.
reevaluating, sorry,
No, it's fine.
the land lease coming in the next couple of weeks here, so, just because I don't want them to, I mean, like I said, I put it on their taxes every year, so that's not a big problem, it's just the fact that everybody else pays on time, so.
But why isn't there a penalty on these ones?
There is, these agreements, that we did up, we did indicate, well, it does actually say if no one, so the leases should be terminated as of December 31st. But again, we haven't followed through on that.
okay, so,
We don't wanna cause any hardship with some of these people, like Harold said, these
Yeah.
people have leased this land for
Yeah,
years.
and these leases were new only about
And we
3 or
just
4
did
years
these,
ago to
yeah.
get things current, because there was no documentation
Yeah.
on a lot of these properties for years.
Yeah, cause some of them, like I said, this one here, for example, yeah, so there is actually agreement from way back when. and it's indicated in there that this is the agreement for this parcel, and that's how much we charge you. So that's why with this one currently, we can't really up it, because
Yeah.
we're just honoring their agreement, right?
So say we sell half of them,
Yeah,
where's that money go? Like general coffers, or do we get, what do we do with the money if we get?
the land,
This
when the,
contingency fund, maybe?
when the land
If we sell
comes
it,
in,
yes.
it goes into our TCA, so just our land, like our revenue, like against,
It's just a general.
yeah, just our general revenue. Yeah, we have to just allocate it as a TCA though, because it's a capital asset.
Right, okay.
But there is, like, your assessed value, I don't imagine on much of this land that those people wouldn't be willing to even think of selling or buying.
I guess-
Especially when they're getting a
The
darn
assessed
good deal right
value.
now.
I just wanted to get your guys, I wanted to at least let you know how this all works for one. And if I can at least have your permission, like Robbie said, I can just send out a letter to them just indicating that we are relooking at this and
Just
basically
looking at other
of
options
options and, you know, would you be interested in purchasing this property? Please contact me to discuss further and we can see how that goes and I can give them a deadline to reply and
So can you forward all us your letter, and
Yeah.
maybe we can add?
I'll
input?
send it to you so y'all know what I'm, yeah, cause I mean, it's just, these leases have been in place for years, which is, that's fine.
Yep.
But we're not making any, not that we're really out to make money, but we're basically eating the cost for the taxes and that sort of thing, so.
And I agree with Ray, there should be a pen more.
Well, there is actually, they could be terminated.
It could be.
We can terminate them, it's just we haven't followed through.
Right.
Kate, so if it's okay, I'll do up a letter, send it to you guys, make sure it's good, and then go from
See
there.
what it, yeah, see what the feedback is.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Food cycle,
Food cycle. So they presented at the joint committee meeting. Now this was for, let me find it here, our compost. I'm just trying to find, I think this is it here. So, yeah, at the joint committee meeting, we had a presentation from Food Cycle. So basically what it is it's a little unit that each resident would get to put their compost in. And what it does is you can actually throw in all your compost in at one time, and then it grinds it all up, makes it into soil, and then you can just throw it on your garden or whatever after it's done. We're trying to reduce the waste in our transfer stations, so by at least providing something like this, it might help a little bit. We discussed at our last waste management meeting, composting is hard because at our dumps, like at Carberry, for example, we have a compost place, but it has not been, managed. So actually the plan is to just bulldoze that completely out this year and start from fresh, whether we see how it goes this year with that, but it's also the management and making sure that it's done properly. So anyway, by looking at compost options, we did, like, these individuals reached out to us, they gave us a presentation, and I think Nipawa has
something like
Has
this.
some,
This
yeah.
is just a countertop box there.
Yeah,
And you hold a liter or whatever and you throw your stuff in and
Size of a bread maker, and one of the coolest things they had brought up is that it's it doesn't release methane because of the process. It only releases carbon dioxide,
It's filtered.
and it's filtered so there's no smell in your house. And you can put like veggies, like eggs,
Yeah.
you can put meat with bones in it even, and overnight it like cooks and breaks down into like a little dish of garden soil. It sounded.
The cost,
I was-
comment?
what's the cost?
Harold
Yeah.
just,
that's,
Has there been any, like, 'cause I know there's a hog operation at Portage where all they do is feed food scraps, so they place a dumpster at restaurants
Oh.
and anywhere, and any food goes in there and they take it to Portage and feed it straight to the pigs. Has there been any from them on this, or?
I could,
No.
I got, I'll talk to Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
Guess that, if it's on your countertop, it's probably a lot more manageable than having to try to have people come in, like,
well, It's the logistics of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, but
It
The
is.
hog guys, they go straight to the restaurants, they don't.
you know, I realize,
It's
yes,
not inbound,
But it-
but I
it-
see this would be more for household.
every
That's
house.
what they're talking about.
absolutely.
So what's the cost?
So it's
It's like a pilot program.
So their retail price, so there's different different ones, I guess. So one's a more expensive version, so it's 800 and this one's 500. So they give us a discount, I don't know if you can see that, sorry. And then they get a grant actually from, here, grant, I got it. They get a grant, or we would get a grant, I guess, to this Canada Investment. And then they subsidize it, so this would be the cost per unit.
If we
If
subsidize.
we subsidize it, yeah.
Municipality does $100
Yeah.
per unit.
Yeah,
That was sort of like, you know, we're charging for waste management, trying to get a, you know, balanced in this. I'm personally taking one.
I'm all in. Sorry, but I know they said like the one unit is more for like kind of single couples, and like the bigger
Yeah.
families would like
Yeah.
5 in my house, I'd be going,
this one here, yeah.
And also on the municipal dump, if it's run properly and there's, I'll put, you know, we could tender it, I'd take all of that.
Yeah,
I would load it, cause I got a trailer, and take the compost.
so I guess it's, like, I don't know the feeling from town council, this is for just municipal perspective. If you guys, I can send this out to you as well, just for some more information.
Yeah.
We can have this gentleman present at our own meeting as well, if you have more questions, or he, you know, he's just a phone call or an email away too. But here's, so our population would be in this range. Pilot scope 100 households, and then, so this would be our investment, is the 10,000. So I can get more of a breakdown from him on costs as far as like what exactly our population is, and like, it's, I guess, and there is a, I'm just gonna back up a little bit, there is a composting survey coming out for residents, just to see if they would be interested. That would also give us a bit of a more perspective on who actually would be in favor of this, because there's no sense of council going in on all of this if nobody's interested in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's got their own way of composting, and especially in the rural areas, everybody does it differently, right? So,
My
So
chickens.
it's like my composters have 2 legs and wings.
yeah, so, yeah.
Just a quick question, if we did go with the program and we do have residents purchase these things, how does the warranty on the system work? Would we be responsible for keeping spare units somewhere and exchanging them for residents and then return to the company?
Yeah.
Or is it a direct thing to the company? I'm looking for logistics with the
Yeah,
office.
no, for sure.
1 year warranty on
One
I
these
think
things.
it was, yeah.
And these are built in China, and you can get the same units all the Canadian Tire, which German made.
Okay, but if a resident buys one, they're gonna come back to us
Yeah.
looking for
We don't
warranty.
wanna deal with that though.
I don't
That's-
think we wanna get into that.
No, I'm just wondering if that was
Yeah.
part of this or not.
no,
I can,
Okay.
yeah, he did indicate the 1-year warranty,
Yeah.
but I can just ask him to elaborate on how.
Yeah, I just don't wanna see you guys bogged down with. a
No,
bunch
I
of
agree,
stuff.
yeah, we already
Yeah,
have
we
our
don't
water
want-
issues, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't wanna have machines
No.
and.
No.
We don't have room.
Just want a little
And then the,
clarification on it.
Dallas?
The one up heat too, he said, this is carbon filters, so the one just replace filters as needed, but
Trish, should we get them back for the council?
Yeah, we can, I can
Let's do
certainly,
that,
yeah, sure, yeah.
I love
But
it.
just so you all know, yeah, there is gonna be a composting survey coming out
Yeah.
as well, so that we can get that. So I'll get this gentleman, back for our next meeting maybe? Is that okay?
You could probably just get the thing and everybody could take a look at it
Yeah,
online
tell them to
anyway.
bring one, have a look at.
He doesn't come here
He doesn't,
anyway, he just
yeah.
comes up there and,
Yeah,
That's a Zoom.
he doesn't come to our meeting.
yeah, he's
No.
virtual.
He's
So are you
volunteering or
interested in
something.
getting him coming back, or,
Yes.
yes?
I love it.
Or get the link and everybody can look
Yeah,
at
or
it.
just.
I'll send you the copy of the presentation.
Yeah.
And then, I'll ask this gentleman if he wants to present again, and then that way you guys have a bit of a more of an understanding. It was presented too, but again, that was last council, so all you knew were.
What was your comment, Rita?
I was just gonna say, this is the exact program that did Deepwa, so if you wanna see how it went, give them a call
Right.
in
Right.
town.
We could check with them.
Yeah. Okay, I'll call
Seems a little
Tony.
gimmicky to me.
I saw some people up there that have got them, yeah, they're a neat little toy,
Do they keep using them?
but, yeah.
And like every time a government subsidy comes along, there's a company that has the solution to your problems.
It's
And
a
it just
consulting
costs
company.
taxpayers in the end.
I think he did have one stat on there saying that after the pilot programs, there was like 80 or 90% upkeep of people that kept using them. So it wasn't a super flop.
That's a pretty good percent, actually.
Right,
In my
yeah.
mind,
I
85%.
wager,
You can use statistics to prove anything.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just don't be so negative there.
Okay, you
Okay,
can
I'll
send
get
that
him
out.
back, yeah. Thank you for your comments.
Vote for quick attach for graders.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't scan this in, I can pass it around. So Matt has given this to me to present to you, so it's a quick attach for all the graders. So the newer ones have these, but he's trying to make sure we all the graders have the quick attach. I don't know too much, but they're the hydraulic pin kits.
They all have the quick attach,
Yeah.
but these are the locking mechanism on the front of them.
Yeah, so the quote came, I can pass this around, the quote came in, so does he need 2 or 3 of them? 3. So the cost came in at 10,200.
Yeah. He broke, that's what we talked about in the meeting, right?
Yeah, yeah, so I can, if you want to see them.
That's for all 3?
That's for the 3.
That's for everything, the package is
Yeah.
10 grand.
Is that mounted and everything, is those installed?
Yeah, this is
That's installed,
installation, this is
installed, yeah.
everything, yeah. Do you want me to
I
pass them around?
I can-
Yeah.
I think it's a smart idea for the guys myself.
I just wasn't, yeah.
Saves time, it's a smart idea.
Well, and possibility of getting hurt doing it.
That's right.
That was the other thing.
Yeah. I think it was safety, say safety, and it's a good idea. Well, anybody on compensation costs us money in the end, right?
It's not a whole pile, it's just a little cylinder and a solenoid
So, like,
and some plumbing.
do we have to vote on that?
I'm gonna just.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna
I
add
just
it,
don't have
oh,
that in front of me, I think it was
Okay.
capital I, 10,200 is what I said.
installed. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Oh, I could have went the other way.
Okay, so what do I call it, hydraulic pins? Install 3
Quick attach, something or other, I think they're called, aren't they?
quick attaches.
Yeah, quick attach
that what I
lock or
call it?
something. What's on the quote?
It just says here, hydraulic
Somewhere.
hydraulic pin kits.
Yeah.
and-
That's what you call them
Is
right
that what I
there.
call them?
Yep.
That's all I need to say,
I
right?
noticed that, you're having trouble with your fingers.
Just, never mind. And then I'll just say, so do you guys want that to come from just your maintenance on the graders, or is that gonna come from your equipment reserve? Cause that one's pretty depleted right now.
No maintenance.
Okay. Cause you do have, I don't have my reserve.
Well, that's for the older graders anyway, right? So it should come.
Yeah,
it should
can I
come
have that
from-
reserve page? Because there is a machinery replacement and then your machinery repair, I
This is
think.
repair, this would be repair, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Reserves, you want.
We
Yeah.
got a 49 reserve.
Yes.
From Cabot? Yeah.
Funds be taken from the
Who's in
machinery.
the tractor?
Where do you have it?
You're the one
Somebody's
who put it.
heads there. See the tire. It looks like it's
Equipment
not.
repair reserve.
Is
Okay.
that the tire? Oh, that's a shadow. Oh,
And there's
I
the
see.
bus.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh my god.
No kidding.
Just never mind. Sorry, Rand, you gotta record this. Okay, that's, you tell me that's.
This is probably neatest.
Resolution 55, 2023, be it resolved the council approve a quote from Capital I in amount of $10,200 plus GST to install 3 hydraulic pin kits, and further be it resolved that funds be taken from the equipment repair reserve. You have a mover, please, Robbie.
Grant.
Seconder,
Grant.
Grant. Any more questions on that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you.
Thank you. There we go. You can take that back. Okay.
Water drainage project, the point,
Yeah,
Just standard, it's a letter and everything.
Yeah.
Sent to us, we look after it now, so.
well, so there, we discussed this a bit at our road committee meeting as well. The only concern is that it might affect the downstream landowners, on this one. I don't know if I haven't actually seen the, well, I haven't talked to Stefan since I did this, but where's his email here? Yeah, so the concern was that it was gonna flood. Here we go. I think this is it, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's our whole half section there.
Yeah.
You
So-
guys can make your points,
His-
I'll just sort of stand by and listen. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, so he's requiring permission to pursue the work. I think I read this out last time maybe, I don't know if I did or not, but this will be a simple project as not much dirt needs to be moved. The proposed plan is to clean out existing drains to a maximum of a 12-inch cut. I prefer not to create any drains at all as it creates soil erosion. The direct of flow for the most of the water is south up to Road 77 North, then it will cross the road and flow south into the natural runway. We have found over the years drainage tremendously improves soil health by keeping plants healthy and alive during stressful times. So, yeah, he basically just wants our approval to go ahead and pursue this. But I think if we do, we need to indicate,
Can you scroll down this one?
oh, sorry, yeah,
A little more. There. So it's all coming down through the ass road there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess if we do approve this, we have to make sure that he does get consent from the downstream landowners. And obviously, so is he going into our ditches?
Has
Going
to.
through our ditch.
No, he's going through our pipes at the
Yeah.
south
Yeah.
end, there's two pipes or two?
I think there's
There's, yeah. Okay.
236.
What about the erosion around the pipes as it drains?
See, that should be part of the license, that if it's any damage caused to our pipes or the road, that he has to
It
fix
should be
it.
his
But what about
responsibility.
cleaning them out too?
Yeah, that
Irrigation,
too,
Yeah.
If he's doing a cut too, he's gotta put controlled water flow to that cut.
Mhm.
You can't just leave bare dirt and farm right up to the cut.
There was one out.
Like, really, like, he's
came out
not
on
really
464.
doing anything new here. It's just cleaning out some of them, really, like
Yeah,
he is gonna speed up the water movement a bit,
it's
there's
filling
no
in
doubt.
some low spots, so that'll push it off quicker.
Yeah, so it's, I think there should be, like you say, furthermore, that responsible for any damages to our road.
So in that case, Ray, would we list them all? Because he can, pick and choose what you wanna say is damage, right?
Well, yeah,
From him.
we'd have to list, and the 12-inch cut, I don't like that, that's too high a number. Because the watershed before used to say 10-inch used to be a bit of maintenance, but 12-inch was construction.
Yeah, that's new.
Yeah.
It's over 10, right?
It's over 10, it's
Yeah.
new.
So he has to go through water stewardship too,
You
doesn't he?
should have to get licensed.
Yeah. Well, if he gets a license from them, then what does it matter to us as long as he looks after our
They rubber
pipes?
stamp some things.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, they're getting us to do the work now, and then they're just plunking afterwards, and it's good, so what's our comments?
Yeah, if we don't make a comment, they just think there's no problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
12-inch cut is more, even though it's 2 inches, it's more than double the size of a 10.
It's never consistent to cut.
Yeah.
But one thing I'll give this guy credit for, at least he's kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing it the right way.
he's doing it what should be done, the rest of them,
So just because you said you own it, have you done that yourself? Have you cleaned drains?
those have all been just looked after
Just-
over the years, and
yeah.
just
Little bit, yeah.
sometimes.
Basically, in the RML, you got a guy that doesn't go through proper channels, and he is causing a pile of headaches for people downstream.
I'd get him, I could add in there, make sure he signed it, that gets the neighbors to sign off.
How
on it.
far
Like
downstream? How
downstream
far?
neighbors. I'd probably say the first mile, so you're looking at the absolute one on the south side of that section.
Elvis.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
A mile is probably.
from the outlet
Yeah,
point,
Yeah.
so it covers that
Pipes.
first mile of
Yeah.
that to the south. There is one outlet that comes over and actually drains onto into the 464 ditch and comes over onto my place, so I'd have to talk to him quick about that.
That's just one little.
It's one little guy.
One little wee pothole besides this office.
But if we're making them sign off, right? Because an outlet, just be cover.
But that's something that we should be doing with everything going forward.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
and when we start seeing, somebody with a backhoe and, a cat, we gotta make sure in our wards that they're doing things properly, because there's unintended consequences that we don't.
The problem is though, Grant, and I'm not trying to sound bad to Watershed, there was one bit of work being done about 4 years ago, and I called Watershed on it specifically because I saw feet of dirt being moved, and I told them, and I reported it as a counselor and as an individual of the municipality. They did not do a goddamn thing.
Sorry, that's bad.
Watershed has no.
I know, there's no teeth in it. So who do you call? Who do you stop it?
Water Resources Officer.
Yes.
You never direct me where to
And that
go.
one doesn't wanna do anything either.
They don't do
So, there's no teeth in it. I'm just glad that Stefan's come to us and asked for the permits first to discuss it with us.
Maybe we should draft a letter to the provincial government about this concern.
That wouldn't hurt.
Right? So that would be the road.
All the conservation districts are trying to do that too.
Wouldn't hurt for the municipality to do that.
I don't know, I was trying to find the wording here, but.
No, at least Stefan's trying to get along with his neighbors and do it
Yeah.
through the proper channels.
Yeah, you can't fault him for that.
No.
Oh, on Road 77 north between, on Road 77 north between 92 and 93 west.
I don't know how you guys want me to word some of this, but.
One, is it? All good.
Sorry, I was typing, I'm not listening.
Well, if they got permission from the highways, you'd have to put up some
On Road
fences and
77 or
and
77
everything else
north.
to control the dirt, the runoff dirt from plugging the ditch and the
Between
culverts.
92 and 93 west.
Eventually it'll happen on, like, in the states that use ride.
Yeah.
uh,
Do we put,
Course of the
to be
plan ride.
determined
Yeah.
by foreman?
It's gotta be that way till it's
Does that make sense or not?
established.
You would have to go out there to do it.
You know, and then they also put the netting down, because, if we had a 12-inch dump like we did 2 years ago, you're gonna have a
Yeah,
cut.
we will
Oh, yeah.
going in a
I
second.
mean, that's just erosion, right? Like that's just,
Yeah, I don't want to,
that's just a rain event. That's where the flooding all came from.
It'll be done by
Poor
the
Adrian there.
municipality.
Yeah,
And he got nothing.
well, it just happened west of my place.
That's right, yeah.
2 miles with the whole road went, and I lost 40 acres.
But we don't want them performing work on our municipality. It'll be determined at our foreman and done by our municipality staff or whatever. Because we don't want him going fixing the road for us. Or how do you word that, Trish?
It'll work.
Mine
It'll be
did,
done by municipal authorities.
yeah, that would work, because if it was big enough, we might have to tender it, so that at least that would cover that.
Because we don't know what's gonna happen in the future. Like, something astronomical could happen where we can't foresee.
This one here is maybe a 1 in 10 year that it'll go over the road. I can't see it being a yearly problem, but I've been wrong before too, so.
Do I just put
Well,
in
and
here
then
if needed?
The nice part of the tile
Yep.
drainage is
Has
associated
to be
before it
the
causes that
municipality.
3-day battery
Yeah.
before it gets, by the time it hits the inlet to the, soaks through the ground, it gets out, so 3 days for the total removal of it.
It's good to have a discussion, cover our bases,
That
that's
sounds
for
good.
sure.
Yeah. That's a general intent, is it not?
I don't know, or just,
Sounds good, Trish.
okay.
And no 12-inch cuts, that is, needs a license for 12-inch cuts, do we not?
Yes,
Or how would you put that here?
notifying us of this project.
Pardon me?
Yeah, he's just asking us for
Yeah.
approval.
Approval
Cause
before it goes for
like you
licensing.
guys were saying, like,
I think
Metro Water Conservation has now put all this responsibility on us.
Yeah.
But then ultimately, if we give the approval with the restrictions, that's, obviously they take that into effect, but it is ultimately up to the government to give them the license.
Well,
Take note of that, but.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
as per municipal or per watershed, whatever.
That the 12,
Watershed's not municipal.
No, but per the
Existing.
license from,
Yeah.
for the license from, if he,
Let's,
if he gets a
let's
license.
try and get them to do their job first, yeah.
so he's saying the proposed plan is to clean out existing drains to a maximum of 12-inch cut, so what do you want?
Need the maximum.
What do we,
No. Well, isn't it wasn't it used to be with watershed that anything over 10 inch, they had to get a license, Jared?
It was, but.
That was
they-
your understanding, a rule of thumb, sort
It
of.
could be 12 inches, no, I don't.
do I just put in here an existing drain be cleaned out to watershed?
That was for
Or
maintenance,
to-
yeah, clean up
Approval.
watershed
Yeah.
regulations, but they've since expedited the licensing process.
Watershed really doesn't have
No, I know, that's why I don't know what.
Nobody has to.
cleaned out to
To
a
municipal.
maximum of 10 inches.
Cleaned out with, yeah, like just say that we prefer 10 inches, but, you know, no greater than 12.
To a maximum of 12
Yeah.
inches, or what you-
In period, not beyond 12.
Yes, yeah, like
Yeah.
prefer 10, but no greater than 12.
Well, and if it's just clean out of that, that's one thing, but if it's construction of it,
Correct,
they're two different
absolutely,
things, are they not?
yes.
Do you put the 12 in here?
Yep.
That would be a good area for grass groundwater.
Oh, God, when it ever,
Well, isn't part of that watersheds?
I don't think on that.
From the half mile coming down a quarter of a mile?
nice if he,
I kind of thought it was, but
be nice if he did a width of rye seed on both sides this year for us.
I would just go to the maximum of 10 inch cut and then stop. Don't put the 12 inch.
If you mention 12, then it's a gray area.
Don't even put that in there to a 10 inch.
That,
Yeah.
okay. You wanna read it
I
out?
don't know whether you need cut to a maximum of 10 inch period.
Yeah, I like that better, because it's gonna
Okay.
end up being 12 in places.
Okay. where are we?
Different inches, that sounds better, doesn't it?
Yep,
Mhm.
that's good.
Okay, you wanna read it
Are
out?
we sure now?
I don't know, because you guys are just bumping these
Resolution
things off.
55, 2023, be it resolved that council received a drainage application for the east half of 341316 WPM from the registered landowner Stephen Lapointe. And further be it resolved that council approve the application on the following conditions. That the applicant receives consent from all downstream landowners, well, all do we put
All affected,
where do you do that? Can-
Up
that can
to
affect
1
everyone.
mile?
1 mile.
Within landowners, within
Yeah.
1 mile downstream.
Makes sense.
1 mile,
From all downstream landowners within 1 mile, yep.
That the applicant receives consent from all downstream landowners within 1 mile. That any costs incurred for the repairs, maintenance to municipal property, Road 77 between 92 and 93 west, be the responsibility of the applicant. All work to be done by the municipality as needed be approved by the municipal foreman at their discretion. That's clear enough, isn't it then? That the existing drain is to be cleaned out to preferred maximum of 10 inches. Could we have a mover, please? Malcolm, seconder,
Correct.
Fran. Got any more to add to that, anybody? It's sort of setting a precedent going forwards, and it needs to be.
Well, I think that's pretty,
It's a little clearer than what we had on that other one.
Okay, all the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
thank you.
Thank you. Municipal Emergency Coordinator Training. That's quite the MEC.
Manic.
Okay. I'll read this out and then we can discuss it. Resolution 55, 2023. Be it resolved, the council approved Teresa Parker to attend the MEC training program in Altona, March 16, 2023, at a cost of $250, including lunch. Further be it resolved, the costs for mileage and registration be shared at the town of Carter. We put 50-50 in there or not?
It's just cost to be shared with the town of River, yeah. So there,
Is it 75-25, is it 50-50?
it's 50/50, yeah.
Should we have 50-50 in there, or is just an understanding?
We always just have the shared, but we'll just,
Have they approved it?
yeah, it's on there. Yeah, we
Any
did it.
questions on that then? All in favor? Or do we have a mover?
Oh, yeah, we didn't have.
Okay, have a mover first. then.
Dallas?
I'll move it. Dallas, okay, you got him? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed, carried.
Thank you.
Dust control. Okay.
So, we have a bylaw in place, not anymore, but a special service one for Brookdale area, Road 89 and Lake Irwin. So, I'm just wondering, I know I emailed Jerron and Grant and Malcolm, don't mean to point, sorry, but did you guys happen to get anybody, I know you said you left, that was last year.
That was back in August, I went and checked.
So, this is a special service, it's gonna take a little bit to get through, but I'm just wondering is, and Teresa actually sent me some information on the dust control, so I'll just pull that up here quick. But, so yeah, Brookdale gets it all the time. Road 89, I did have some feedback last year on this. Some of them wanted it and some of them didn't. When we put the bylaw in place 2 years ago, we had 2 objections. Now, it's a council decision, so a majority, like let's say we put this out, we had a public hearing, we have to have a certain amount of objections to not put this forward. But the cost that will be incurred on, because there's not very many people along Road 89, so there's not many to share the cost. So it's a bit more of a cost for all of them, more expensive for that area, rather than like Brookdale and
the front ones.
it's, yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm just wondering if you, because when I do this bylaw, if you want to include the Road 89 or you don't, and let 89 just pay for custom work as is with everybody else.
I recall we kind of
Yeah.
decided to do.
Yeah, and I just wanted-
custom one on here.
Yeah, so I was just wondering though if the feel would be the same, because it's new council and this is how this all works. Dust control fees have gone up, so it's a pretty large expense, and for however many there are on that road.
The only thing about the dust control on 89, especially south of the creek, is you're gonna do one strip and then you're gonna miss 50 feet, and then you're gonna do the next strip and miss 50 feet.
I
How are
think,
you grading
when I
that
talked to
50 feet?
them, they all said they would pay for it on their own if they had to, and either cost share it with a neighbor.
Yeah.
or-
They'll work it out
I think that would be
themselves,
best.
Yeah.
So, and just,
Everybody on the south side of the creek would go for it either way.
except on the east side. One,
On the east side?
there's one there that wouldn't go for it anyway. Right on the very south side of the creek on the east side.
Okay, they're the only ones that didn't answer their door or their phone.
Yeah.
If so, like where Dobson used to live?
No, the north one.
Oh,
June?
They're both
no, they didn't care one way or another, so.
Really?
I talked to Nora and she said.
Good job.
She said, yeah, it doesn't really matter, she said if, yeah, so.
Oh, wow.
They weren't, they're the ones that had almost no opinion on it. And everybody else was either adamantly for it or adamantly against
Yeah.
it. And I can see, like, the people who were against it had shorter frontage, so they were paying more than if they had to pay custom.
right,
So they were basically subsidizing the people with the bigger houses.
right, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
So in my opinion, I would say let's just go based on frontage and let them do it or not.
Yeah. Okay.
Your question was really, Betcha, was grading it. how do they maintain it? Is
It's
that a
hard
pain in
when
the
they
butt?
It's either gonna be all or nothing,
Yeah,
like,
that's-
you can
That's
say
what led to
south
the
of the
bylaw,
creek.
because it used to be patch piecemeal.
Yeah, well, that was the thing before.
I did kind of a survey this weekend in the town of Brookdale,
Mhm.
and basically you got pavement, and then you've got, on the north side of the town, and I'm facing east now, but on the south side, they would like that done.
Yeah, that's where it's
Every
not
year.
paved, yeah,
But, then you go Fraser's Story, the next Mitchell's,
yeah,
that could be done to recycling it.
okay.
Like because everyone slows down on those cross.
Well, and Matt talked about it not maybe needing 2 applications, right? Like it only needing the one, but I don't know for sure.
But that's the key
Have we
factor.
ever investigated alternatives to the
To the calcium,
chloride? Yeah.
we have, well, let's just say we've looked at options and it hasn't been followed through, I guess.
Beet juice.
Beet juice was one of them.
Well, Malcolm and I were talking to a guy with a booth, what was that, Cypher Environmental.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they had that product, we were thinking it would be a good idea to try it up by,
Depot.
well, Newport at the
The
Langford Cut Shop.
And it's
See
supposed to be long-term, so the cost would be up front and then spread out over 10 years kind of deal.
Yes, it was expensive at the start, but
And provincial government on 464 south of Brookdale, they're the grind old asphalt, they're spreading it
yeah.
on, and
That's what
that's,
they use in there.
yeah, just north of the bridge. And it's controlling a lot of the dust on that road. They haven't done the whole thing, but they've done tests up that road, so there's another option.
That Cypher Environmental, I think 2 foremans ago, they did have it arranged that they were going to do it, and then we lost our foreman, so I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
it
I
fell
think
through.
that was up by the hog plant.
It was right
Yes.
by the Langford Shop Road.
Yeah.
We were just gonna do a test strip in there where we could monitor it with all the traffic coming and going, we discussed it.
Yeah, we
we-
did.
Direct somebody to look into it again?
Well, I can certainly get Matt to contact them. I have their
That one will
information.
be split with the town. We
Yeah, so that would be a good one to do.
Right.
We should definitely.
put it all on them, they're
Yeah,
getting all
maybe
the
even
taxes.
highlight, because like
Yes.
That's what I mean,
the
highlight.
food production places, their air quality control is monitored by CFIA too, so
Yeah,
like
that's
any
right.
dust or anything like
Yeah.
that.
And that was the
affects
biggest
us.
thing.
So it
Yeah.
should be tested for sure, and then we can go forward. Yeah.
They did tell us the Curry's Landing Road, right? That's done? That's
Yeah.
where I think our gravel pit's down there.
Which
isn't
one, sorry?
it? In
Curry Landing.
Cornwallis?
Oh,
They've done different places.
yeah,
Yes.
Blue Star, like,
It is.
our
You-
contractor with our.
You need a very specific type of clay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
That's-
very
that is-
specific.
It's very specific,
They
it's very
do-
hard to find.
Yeah, but they have a couple of products, I think. They do minefields, roads into projects, all kinds of things, industrial wise.
What Cornwallis was
Oil
doing,
fields.
sorry,
No,
but
no, you go ahead.
what Cornwallis was doing was for trucking,
Yeah,
trucking outfits, like
Yeah.
you can build it's strength in the road.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if that road needs strength, what you guys are talking
Well,
about.
the hog ones.
Like, what's it built of now? Like, if it's got a strong
Sand.
base, then it's,
yeah,
like these guys, like, yeah, they come in, it's gotta have exactly the right amount of water, the right amount of clay.
Well, they'll do the core sampling and
Yeah.
stuff, so
mhm.
I think it's worth
I
pursuing.
think that's worth pursuing.
Yeah, I
With the
can
town
certainly
people.
reach out to
Yeah.
them and then talk to
And see what it
Nicola
does.
and see if they
But,
would be
uh,
interested.
I know at least one resident I was talking to, like, said that if there was any longer term, solutions, yeah, that they would be
Interested in that,
interested in
yeah.
that, so.
Harold?
Harold?
Oh, does anybody, just like the molasses feeder south of Brandon, they put out a product that's a byproduct of the molasses they use for dust controls. Anybody looked into that?
No.
Is that not something what they were talking about, to that effect, going to the gravels, getting back again?
I
It's
remember
something
hearing about it
different
years ago,
altogether,
yeah,
yeah.
but it didn't work for what they were, I believe they.
I think it's a good idea to look at other, I mean, we've always gone with 4 distributors, which is, it's through the trading, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. But I've had a couple people call, like last year specifically, that actually have just paid another company to come in. It's on the terms that like it's our road, so like if we need to grade it, I mean, sorry, but that's,
Kevin,
but they
go
are
back
looking
to
at
this.
other options because it's costing them so much money too. So they can do it, it's just they have to know that that's our road too, right?
And we can grade through it as we
Yeah.
please.
I was on researching this, and there's a lot more options than
Yeah.
calcium. And maybe we should put some thought, maybe just do in our municipal yard, something in Carver here.
I think that this road along the shop, we did that because it's just a test, right? So it'd be good to just do, 'cause that's a busy road with the hog plant and whatnot, and our guys going in and out of there too, so,
Well, and cost share
And-
between the towns.
yeah, cost share, yeah.
And don't take any offenses, Harold, molasses will attract all traders, yeah, to
True,
Lick the road.
true.
Calcium, and calcium is not
Yeah.
technically environmentally friendly.
But I'll, like,
But
if-
for right now, we would like to know what we're
yeah,
going
I'll
to do
reach
with
out to the
special.
Cypher Environmental and then talk to Matt and see if we
We'll
can
probably
get
have a booth at the trade show.
spring one, yeah, okay, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna read this email out for dust control, sorry, I just wanna, so dust control costs for 2022 were $106,020.95. Money received in for bylaws was $16,000. Money received for invoicing was $96,000. This means we finally reached full cost recovery after so many years of losses. So win-win for us, but now for the bad news, she says. I received an answer back from Ford Distributors that the cost of the dust control has increased to 0.38 per liter. We use 3 liters per foot for a 16-foot pass and apply dust control twice per year. So the cost of dust control for 2023 will be 0.38 times 3. This is her formula, so 2.28 per foot plus GST. GST has not been charged in the past, but it should be and needs to be, which is the service we provide, so we have to charge it. 2022 cost for 200 feet of dust control was $420, so 2023 costs the same, will cost $487.92. This will mean a considerable increase as well for our bylaw if renewed, and an increase to taxes. So Brookdale currently spreads 3,200 feet, which is the cost, and it's split between 30 residents, so this is what would be on their taxes last time. This is for the Lake Irwin region, this is how much they pay. Road 89, this is their cost, this is how much they pay. So there's 13 residents there, this is the most one I'm concerned about, that's a lot.
Yeah.
In the prior bylaw, we chose to do an increase of 10% per year to get back to cost recovery, which we were to achieve. The inflation of the past year was pretty extreme, but who knows what will happen next. You will need to discuss the increases to apply for 2024, 2025. At the cost of dust control currently, she's counting on having a large amount of complaints and drop in numbers for the application. The increase is mostly due to increase in fuel charges to supplier, which is to be expected.
Okay, Road 89 there, if we took off north of the bridge and just did the south part, you got 3 residents there you're gonna drop. And you're gonna drop over half the distance.
But the cost will go up too, though.
Yeah, but you got more people, it's higher populated per, you're gonna go down to about 1,500 feet for 10 residents instead of 3,600 feet for 13 residents, which makes quite a difference at the end of the day. I know your cost is gonna go up per liter, but it would be still less than that what they're paying now, if you get my way of thinking.
Yes. What was the cost per liter last year? It doesn't say.
I can get that
Yeah, if you can
information.
get that, because then, well, we'll know exactly what the.
Another thing I was hearing from people is that they would like to see it applied earlier.
Yeah,
That was
I
one
heard
of
that
the biggest
too.
things,
Yeah, like they're paying the same cost, but they're getting 2 months less protection.
yeah.
A couple of years ago, I thought we had tried to make some steps that bump
35.
up the month of when you have to.
Well, we tried to, but last year, just for
Yeah.
whatever reason, we didn't
Yeah.
get it done in an orderly
Yeah, because
fashion.
I think instead of by, so, we're gonna move it to like a certain day in April, you have to pay by instead of May, so we can actually get it, weather accordingly, get it on at least that month earlier.
Every year is different.
Right, I think the year we had really tried to make that the plan was like floods, it was crazy. But there was definite intent to really step it up the last 2 years.
So this
It
is
just
what
hasn't-
we charged
Well,
last year.
spring.
We charged $3.35 last year,
Exactly,
33.5 cents
Yeah.
per,
33 and a half?
that's per liter, eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
$1.83.
right, yeah.
No, that was
right.
per square foot in 21.
Right,
I know where I
just,
am. It's They start planting potatoes as soon as the ground is stiff enough to withhold the tractor. And
Yeah.
they've already gotten through, planted all their potatoes and everything, and then a month afterwards, they put the dust control down.
Carberry is sooner, you know, they pretty well go north, like we gotta tackle Carberry first with the potato growing season. And because, I'll tell you the truth, between Adrian Anson's and I, it's 10 days from when our area gets going to Wellwood. And then from Wellwood to here, it's early, yeah.
Theoretically, when they come, the truck does it all in 2 days though. It's here, done.
Yeah.
But last year, like as Malcolm was saying too, there was like weather episodes the day they were coming, and the truck had to be like rescheduled.
Because they
It was
can't
2
put
or
it
3
on during
times.
a rain event, or
Yeah.
just after.
Yeah.
And when the truck was coming, basically it rained 2 days before, and then it wasn't dry enough for them to apply. And that happened last spring twice.
Yeah.
And with, yeah,
Previous was, it was foreman slop over, so by the time the foreman got up, it killed some time for getting the applications in for a couple of years. It's usually just been in another one was inclement weather again, or too dry. So
and for distributors, like who we get our dust control, our calcium through, a lot of municipalities use them, so they're the only one that municipalities use, and they're busy, and when it comes time, they can't be here, like,
Yeah,
So we, even on rain events, maybe we're better to go real early. If there's a rain event, at least, you know,
yeah.
we could do it about it.
Yeah, I know we always get the calls saying like it wasn't applied in time, and then, but then, like we said, it's all weather dependent too, and
well, then you're signing in time for everyone to sign up
Yeah.
for it. I think the cutoff date's April
April.
1st.
We can make it sooner, but I mean, now that time's gone too, right, it's already middle of March, so.
Would that help you, Darryl?
No, what I'm saying is that you'll never be able to get ahead of the potato process, period, because they're in the field before.
I think we
can,
wanna do
we're
Brookdale and
roads.
Lake Irwin for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, that's what I would like to know, is if,
Yeah.
Those two for sure, and I would ask Matt to measure the south of the creek. 'Cause if you got 10 people that are gonna split that for half the distance, it's gonna bring their rate down
Yeah.
from what this is last year.
Well, in the first 3 houses, one shouldn't be as bad because the guys haven't accelerated full speed yet. So it's not gonna have the dust.
They're using the excuse that everybody uses the road so that they shouldn't have to pay for it, so.
And Trish, every second year for north-south roads in
Yeah.
Brookdale.
sorry,
Every second year for the north-south streets in Brookdale. They don't have to be done every year. But the east-west on the south side, I think it's paved on,
yeah,
it's gotta be done every year.
okay,
So your cost of product went up 12%.
yeah,
Mhm.
So,
But your distance went down 50% on the
yeah,
road 89 there.
yeah, no, I just, in general, like, so,
yeah, so if you're saying like if you decrease the road 89, but the foot, like it might go down a little bit for them if that's the
yeah,
case.
you have more, like what you,
Yeah,
more
I see what
people,
you're saying,
yeah.
yeah.
So your cost
So it would cost to go
per
down.
site
So
would
it
be
would
down.
be better for the operators if it was all or not for that one section.
For that section, yes.
Okay, I'll talk to Matt about that, but everybody's on the understanding that,
We're
Brookdale
okay
and
with
Lake
Lake
Irwin.
Irwin and
Yeah.
Brookdale.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
Like
Just,
to Brookdale, you can say the
and this
every other
costs,
year, yeah, but then that person living on that road's gonna say, well, you did that one, why didn't you do this one?
Well, I've done, well, it was through Brookdale, and the consensus is that, yeah, I'm gonna have 2 or 3 that want it done every year, but majority of them is every second year on.
yeah,
So I'm just,
okay,
I'm running by council, whatever you guys decide.
yeah, and that cost might go down then if we're not doing it, like if you're only doing the north-south roads every 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And then that might change it a little bit too for them, cause then we're not applying as much. It'll be every odd year, right, so. the
Yeah,
bylaw
But are
would
they
be-
gonna be happy with paying for it when they're not getting it?
basically, if
That's
the
the
dust
next
is
question.
created on that road to the south, because they're booting it
Right by
in, to
the
get to the
trailers
post
there.
office or the, you know, or they go right through to the dump
Yeah.
on the south road. And that's where the majority of the dust is created. When people then slow down and go to the north-south, there's not much dust created. And there's residue or not residue, from, like I've looked at all the roads and there's lots of still calcium. from
Yeah.
washing it off.
Okay,
But if you didn't get dust control in front of your place one year, would you pay for it willingly? Now, how are we gonna
Well,
split
that's
that?
true, that's
they're all,
true.
they all, like, all the residents in Brookdale pay for dust control. It's
Because
not
everybody gets
specified on
equal dust
who lives-
control.
Yeah,
I understand what Ray's saying.
yeah.
And you're gonna
Well, I
come,
was just trying to,
Mhm. So, I mean, we can go ahead and we have to have a hearing and hear back from the residents obviously too, and then get this passed, so I'll go ahead, I'll get your bylaw, we just have to have the first read at a public hearing, so we'll go ahead and
sure.
I'll send the bylaw out before and,
Yep.
and I'll get that information too from Matt, and then I'll get the prices out and see if you guys are okay with that, and then I'll add.
Because of even this little more, but long term,
Mm-hmm,
it's,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would like to get rid of dust control completely and just let them do it themselves and deal with somebody outside of here, because it is a lot of work in here.
I did have two
For-
residents at Lake Irwin requested it with the speed limit was dropped to 40, probably wouldn't even need the dust
Mhm.
control through the area.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll,
but are you also gonna put something in there to the effect that some of these people who wanna get their own are allowed
I have
to
a
do it?
solution for wash
But
boards
with
if
the
anybody
understanding that
wants
if our grader people grade through it, it's not our fault.
It's
But
called
that doesn't
plate.
need to be, you know,
that's,
this,
no, I'm just talking about our bylaw right now.
Yeah, okay.
Custom stuff is
okay.
always understood, and it's at everybody's option whether or not they go ahead and pay for it through us. If they don't wanna pay for it
You got
through us,
tons of it up
and
there
if they
with-
are putting dust control down through a different company, they have to make sure that
Make
we're
sure
okay
we're
with
aware
it
of
and that
You
we
know,
know,
yeah.
and that they know that when we are
Grade.
required to grade, it's our road, so
Yep.
we're,
Okay,
sorry,
no,
you're,
That's good.
yeah, okay.
That's it for dust control?
Yeah, that's it, thank you for
Okay.
listening, thank you for doing your research, everybody.
Building reserve transfer, resolution, is it 56 or 57?
We are on, sorry, go back to my
G,
50.
Yeah,
It says 56,
Bad.
did we not put
56,
another
so
one in there?
57, yeah, sorry.
57 now.
Resolution 57, 2023, be it resolved that council authorizes the amount of $4,060 representing costs for joint building repair to be taken from the municipal building reserve. We have a mover, please.
No,
Seconder. Any
Okay.
questions on that? What were we doing with that money, Trish?
Well, okay, so just going through my numbers for my budget, this came up because it was a cost share with the town. So this would have been billed in July of 2022, so it was actually for 2021 for the museum.
oh,
So we have to get it taken care of basically right now.
brick repair,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
So what it is we just have to backdate it, so the town had put it in, took it from their reserve as well, so it would be nice if we could do the same so that we're not taking this out of our general fund.
Any
So
more
it's, again,
discussion
it's a
on that?
joint project, so, but that was, yes,
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
thank you.
Tire warranty, KK Penner.
Sorry, thought funny. So we had, okay, I'm just gonna indicate this, so there's a repair order for the warranty tire that, so it's for a tire tractor, this is what happened. So we traded the John Deere, when we got our new one. Anyway, so they were trying to look at the warranty on the tire at the time, but it was actually something that we traded in meantime, so now they're billing us for $1,700 for a tractor tire that we don't own anymore. And it's it's probably, I'm just gonna say it out loud, they said that they removed the labor and service due to the length of time it's taken them, but I don't feel that we are responsible for paying for that.
Okay, I talked to Mark about this, he talked to me when I was in there. Basically, the tire was for the John Deere, it was taken in for repair, they couldn't repair the tire, and they put a new tire on the tractor at that time. Mark was trying to get hold of the company direct to get us warranty from square one, and Mark felt it should have been warranty. They finally came back to him and said, no, they're not gonna warranty the tire. That's why he's asked, if you paid for it now, He's removed all the service fees for changing it over and all the messing around, but he couldn't get warranty for it. And that's from KK Tire, that's not from the dealership.
So that tire, after we sold the tractor, that tire got replaced or during the?
No,
first year?
the tire got replaced during us using it.
Right.
And then over 2 years, Mark was trying to get warranty on the tire. And he's been going back and asking him every 5-6 months, trying to get warranty for it, and they just keep putting him off. They finally told him, no, we're not warrantying it.
Don't we have to pay for it then?
Technically, no,
No?
but, well, I don't know, like he said
Well,
he's
it was a
been
bill that was due
back in the time.
if the warranty would have came.
Or,
Yeah,
Yeah, if warranty had said no that day, then we would have paid it that day, so.
Yeah, and it's not his fault, he couldn't get warranty. We just said we had a tire that went on the tractor we were using during service.
Glenn Campbell was still working.
Yeah, and he's been trying to get warranty out of that thing for 2 to 3 years for us, and we just could not get it. So that's why he asked if he could get paid for it now.
I hate to penalize them for trying to do due diligence for us, right?
Yeah, like I mean, to me,
I guess it was a service that we did ask him to do at the time, right?
yeah, I mean,
Depending
it's.
on whether or not it
it's
was
un-
covered or warranty.
Yeah, unfortunately, it took a while to pay it, or to figure it out, but I mean, we still used the tractor for 2 years, well, on the tractor.
Okay.
So we used it, wasn't like,
No, it's not a dealership thing or anything like that. It was tire shop changed the tire for us, tried getting warranty.
you gotta penalize the warranty people for this, not him. I mean,
We don't need
my
a
thought is, but I
resolution
mean,
for that.
No, I just wanted to run it by you guys.
that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
but
there's
Yes,
everybody.
it has to
You
be.
know, it's not right.
He knocked all
Labor
the
and
labor and everything
the
off it
service
just because
all.
it took so
Just the
damn
tire we're talking.
Just a tire.
That's crazy that a tire costs.
You know what everyone wants to screw you.
Well, yeah, like,
That's not an expensive tire.
That's
I know, because I
insane.
used to hate that.
The tractor-
Okay, so
Okay, gas
recommendation is
tax
to pay for it?
projects.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, okay, thank you.
Resolution 58, 2023, be it resolved the council approve costs for the following projects to be funded by the gas tax reserve. Project number 47580 Walker's Road. Project number 2, 49502 Mans Road. Project number 3, 49504 Bailey's Road. And project 4, 40452 Glazer Kruger Road. Could we have a mover, please? Robbie, second. Harold,
I can elaborate on these a little bit.
go
So
ahead.
all of these roads that are indicated are new roads, so gas tax does pay for those. So all these roads are actually agreements that we have, they're shared costs with the residents. So our cost will be covered by gas tax. So they've already paid for their half, but our half is being claimed by gas tax because it is a new road. So in the past, we weren't sure if we were able to do that, but now that we can, because it's new, I've got official confirmation it's not gas tax anymore, it's called the Canada Building Fund. But anyway, so that helps alleviate costs off of us for sure, so.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
MGRA Annual Banquet, Resolution 59, 2023, be it resolved that council approve Reeve Ray Grayson and CAO Trish Fraser to attend the Manitoba Good Roads Association Annual Banquet and Award Program on April 3rd, 2023 at the Delta Hotel in Winnipeg at a cost of $130. Could we have a mover, please?
Grant?
Seconder.
Malcolm.
Any questions on that?
That's just the same night as the AMM spring convention, so we're there already, so we thought I've never been, so I'd be interested to see. Yeah.
Quite often, we've had somebody in the municipality nominated or receiving awards to this too, whether we have this year, we don't really know, but. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, that's right.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. AMM Workshop, PR Storm, Resolution 60, 2023, be it resolved that council approve Ray Grayson to attend the AMM Education Workshop, ER Storm, on April 3rd, 2023 at the Delta Hotel in Winnipeg at a cost of $115 plus GST. Can I have a mover, please? Seconder, Davidson. That's public relations, Storm, how to handle the media.
How are you gonna do both in the same day, Ray?
What, the
One's
convention?
nighttime, one's in the morning.
Yeah, they
And the
actually.
other's in the afternoon.
I was gonna say, they alternated that for.
Yeah, I know, I understand that.
Good job, Rob.
Oh, you're catching on.
Any questions on that, anybody?
If
All in
there
favor? Opposed? Carried.
The virtual.
Added to the agenda. What the job
Oh,
added
yeah,
there,
it's right
Trish?
here, sorry. Oh, it's on the, here, hold on. We're just gonna move it down so we can see. It's just for signing authorities for, recreation, so what it's doing is, so right now, I'm gonna read this out loud before you read the resolution. So right now, there's a CPCC bank account on its own, and there's a recreation programming account, two separate bank accounts. So, at the joint meeting, we discussed that the rec programmer actually technically falls under the CPCC account. So what we're doing, it actually used to be all in the same account. We separated it out because of our auditors actually at the time. So now we're just putting it back and simplifying it, and the CPCC will have one account and it'll have sub-accounts for the programming and that sort of thing. So it's just combining everything and streamlining it a little
Way
bit
less
better. Yeah.
complicated for auditing
Yeah.
too, right?
So this is what that's saying.
Saving time.
Saving
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Okay. Do you have a resolution number of that for everything?
Yeah, sorry,
61.
yeah.
And the town has, obviously,
Been the same?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
this
they
is
like
the,
it.
so the resolution that's
Okay.
drafted here is what Grady, Teresa, and I have
Okay.
drafted, it's the same, yeah, for both, yeah.
Signing authorities, Resolution 61, 2023, be it resolved the council merge the manager of leisure services, wage, benefit, and operating accounts to the town of Carberry ledger for the purposes of
You know what, I
budgeting.
gotta change, sorry, that's North Cypress-Langford, that's my fault.
I was gonna question that.
Yeah, no, sorry, my fault, hey,
Okay, so we change it to the Municipality of North Cypress-Langford ledger for the purposes of budgeting, revenue, and expenditures. And further be it resolved that the manager of leisure services, programming, and fundraising accounts be moved to the Carberry Plains Community Center accounts for the purposes of budgeting, revenue, and expenditures. And further be it resolved that the revenue and expenses be shared 50-50 with the town of Carberry. And further be it resolved, moving that around.
sorry.
Where are we here?
Right here.
And further be it resolved that the recreation operating account 201-06225 at Westover Credit Union be closed, and any funds be transferred to the town of Carberry general operating account 8026003. And further be it resolved that the funds in the fundraising #1 sub-account under 201-06225 be transferred to the CPCC operating account 201-06183. And further be it resolved that the transferred balance be shared 50-50 with the town of Carberry. We have a mover, please.
Almost done.
Seconder. Welcome. Everybody understand that?
Sure.
We're just making sure we're not turning everything over to the town.
No, so
Carberry.
what this is saying, yeah, we have to basically close out the rec account and then just move the funds over to the CPCC, but because the town of Carberry looks after all the joint, what's it called? Subboard, it's just giving them authority as well to transfer that out under the town of Carberry operating account as well, so that because it's all under the same umbrella.
The only thing I would like to see a little more oversight by us, because you're transferring everything to the town.
We
Well,
have
it's just-
oversight of it,
There's two of us on the committee,
yeah,
on the rate board.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye out.
yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
Ray, dealing with Mayor, something that we might discuss in the future, like Langford, for example, those two wards up there, they're kind of maybe visitors for the rec down here. And then maybe, this is just a thought, that we should just, like this 50-50, I feel like there's 2,100 people in the Carberry, and maybe the North Cypress district, we shouldn't include the North Cypress residents.
We're one municipality, that's my problem, we gotta keep it that way.
I'm gonna talk about something like that around the table.
They pay a lot less than.
Anyway, any more questions on this?
Yeah.
All in
So I
favor?
just thought that it was
Opposed? Carried, thank you.
Okay.
We'll have an insightful budget
Communications.
conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Public
Thank you,
concerns, firefighting payments increase.
I'm just gonna, yeah, I sent out your correspondence.
Yep.
Just a second.
Well, it's good to see them getting paid more.
Yes,
50-50 with the bills.
NACI graduation ceremonies.
so I was making sure, I think Ray, you've gone in the past,
Yep.
but you're still,
I'll go again.
Okay. I think I put you down. I did. Oh, I already marked you down, so. Okay,
Closer to town, get a-
Question on
yeah, okay.
those NACI and Carberry down here too with the grad for the, what are we, $500 each now?
Yeah,
That was put in 25 years ago, is it, just throwing a question out, is it time to up that a bit, or are we happy with $500?
I'd up it to 1,000.
$500, like textbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it mean, yeah, like, where do you,
$1,000 is a bit more of a.
anybody interested in that, or I'm just throwing a question out?
I agree. And plus, can we get, somebody wants to donate donate 100, can we get a taxable receipt? Let's say like we agree on 1,000, and let's say I want to donate 100 to boost it up. Will I get a taxable receipt for?
yes, you would, yeah.
It's not a bad idea too. Go ahead, Robbie.
Well, yeah,
So you think
we gotta
that-
keep up with the times.
Yeah.
Like it would maybe, like, seriously, maybe 1,000 isn't enough, but it's a good start this year.
Absolutely.
You know, like, we don't wanna be seen as the low ballers.
No.
But that's
And we used to have also up there too, before we amalgamated, that the person that won these could only get one scholarship.
Well,
There's too many places we get 5 kids get the same, all the
Yeah.
scholarships, so this was way up.
you
Do
have
we
that
wanna
clause.
bring that in or not? I like the idea myself.
Or should we put it in there that it only goes to a resident of?
Well, that's
That's-
already a
that's
given.
already in there, I
It
can't
has to
make
be a
sure it
resident of
was.
Langford, but only collect one scholarship. What's
So-
everybody else think of that?
So, we just do one in Neepawa and one in Carberry?
Yep, one
Yeah,
in
That's
each.
one's high school.
Yep, we got 2 high schools.
Yeah,
yep.
no, so I'm just,
Yep.
okay, no, so that's $2,000 then, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I
Cool.
agree.
I like that. So yeah, putting a little Facebook, little blurb saying that if anybody wants to add on for a taxable receipt, that's.
You better see
Always
that.
running in tax rolls.
You got something there, Trish?
I think so. I don't-
Resolution
I was
62.
typing while you guys were talking again, I was listening.
62, 2023, be it resolved the council increase the,
Sorry,
the annual scholarship to one, of 1,000 or to 1,000?
1,000 for each
just wait a
school.
second here, hold on,
For each school.
for both,
For both means you're splitting it.
what?
Yeah.
When you
to
said
1,000.
both, it's, yeah, it kinda sounds like you're splitting 1,000, so you put each school.
You know what, you guys wanna do this?
Not really.
Good job.
And call in.
Okay, let's start over again. Resolution 62, 2023, be it resolved that council increase the annual scholarship for both Neepawa Collegiate and the Carberry Collegiate to $1,000
Each.
Is that better?
Oh,
That's
Trish,
perfect.
it's wonderful.
Robbie's moving now.
Absolutely.
I'll
Seconded, Grant. Any questions on that?
I just have to keep it, you know,
All in
light.
favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.
You
You know
gotta,
I'm just teasing, right?
gotta keep our smart kids going.
Yeah.
Municipal Relations 23, Municipal Operating Fund.
Yeah, so they have increased our operating fund. I think I sent this out a while ago, but we're gonna get $383,506.
Yep.
So that's a huge increase. I think we budget, it's an increase of 150 grand basically,
Beautiful.
based on our population. So that's exciting. I think we budgeted last year to actually, because they talked about this last year,
Yeah.
and we never received the increase, so this year, this is very helpful.
Potato truck pull report.
Yeah, so they, the potato truck pull, they've decided to not have it for the future. They've done very well over the past few years, and they've decided to end it. And like they said in their letter, they've raised, well, it says right here, 200, yeah,
Well, the bottom
last
of-
year amount, and then, yeah, sorry, the last,
Total
which is a total
altogether
of
is unreal.
870,484. So they've done, it's been 7 years, so.
It is actually a shame that it is quitting.
Yes, everybody enjoys, that's why everybody comes to the fair, I
Well,
think, is to
a
watch.
lot of it, and it just, you know, like if they had gone one more year, they'd be over $1 million. Like I was kinda heartbroken that,
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
oh, I know,
Oh,
I
it's
know.
a part-time.
Amy
Give
and
the ones
Jamie
that did it
and
a lot of
put
credit,
a
boy.
lot of, yeah.
And it's just too bad maybe somebody else wouldn't take it on.
And somebody very well could for another
Yeah.
fundraising project, right? So it's,
Yeah, right.
It's a matter
Good
of-
pivot.
yep.
Yeah.
Bet they didn't get the fair board taken over.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, maybe they will, I'm not sure, but, so, yeah.
Okay. Too bad. Manitoba Weeds Association, weeds control update.
So this is, happening actually this Wednesday at our hall.
Yep.
It's just an update for the Noxious Weeds Act. So I think, yeah, Ray, you're going.
I'm going to it, if anybody else.
And nobody else really said they would like, I sent this out a while ago.
Yeah,
When is it? Don't like having this
Okay.
maybe
Wednesday.
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 I had to register by it the other day, but
Yeah,
still.
what,
My father-in-law was planning on going to this from Oak Lake area as a counselor, and he told me yesterday that they'll cancel.
oh,
So just check into it.
okay,
Okay,
haven't talked to Gopher
Okay,
so far.
haven't heard, okay.
It's during the day,
Oh.
yeah.
Carberry Parks and Rec Board Sportsman's Gala. Trish?
Yeah, this, so they're having their annual gala. We did this, we actually sponsored 500 last year for this. I guess it's up to you guys if you would like to go ahead and do the same this year.
What's it cost for a table?
Just
It's 85 a seat,
Pardon me?
85 a seat.
Yeah, so half a table is 300, that's 4 tickets, a full table is 8 tickets, and that's $600. So
I threw that question out to Trish the other day, why don't we buy a table and put it on Facebook or something to have a draw for, say, 4 residents to join our council or something?
That's a good idea. Go for it.
might as well do the full table.
Yeah.
The full
Oh, you
table,
would?
yeah, do the full table, yeah.
Instead of sponsoring the $500, just buy a table and put it out to anybody.
Yeah, do the, yeah.
It just costs $100 more to do a full table and then,
But you're getting a little
yeah,
promo.
We're giving the money to the facilities
Yes.
anyway, so that's.
who's going? I'm signed up to go.
I will be
I'll be
going.
going.
I'll go.
No, but I mean not, I've
Yeah,
got my own,
no,
I've booked
yeah,
half the
so I know, I was
table.
gonna say, I'm going on my own,
Yeah.
like through,
I
I think you would-
I'm not signed up to go, but I would.
I don't think we can do it for us though, right?
Yeah.
We'll put it out. If we're going, we gotta pay ourselves. Like, right?
Okay,
Put it out to the general population and good PR.
so yeah,
It's April the 6th, right?
yeah.
So what do we
Thursday
do, like
before Good Friday.
4 draws of like 2
Yeah.
tickets, so you have
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah,
4
Yeah.
couples or 4 date nights?
yeah, I think that would work.
I mean, and you don't have to be from Carberry in Langford, as long as
no,
you.
anywhere in the municipality.
Anywhere in the municipality,
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, what did I do? Council sponsor,
Who are they having at it this year?
sorry.
Who are they having?
They got Troy Westwood,
Oh, I thought I saw it.
yeah, and then, big old, Chris Walby last year was kind of a bust.
Oh, really?
Oh, man,
Yeah, I
He's
heard
good,
that.
I heard that.
well, no, he wasn't very good.
No, he wasn't?
No, he was.
Too much sauce?
We won't go there.
Troy Westbrook's pretty controversial these days
Yeah.
too.
But it was racist, and it was chauvinistic. It was terrible.
And he fell,
Big
right?
old Chris Walby.
He fell coming into the place.
Yeah.
At least my dad fell going out.
Troy
You
Westbrook
should
could
follow
stir
up.
some feathers out.
Oh, I know, yeah. You don't like Saskatchewan very much.
That sound okay?
At the last rec board, did it include a meeting grant stuff?
You should check.
Resolution 63, 2023, be it resolved that council sponsor the third annual Sportsman's Gala by purchasing a full table at $600. Can we have a mover, please?
Sure.
Gala seconder, Harold.
Harold, okay.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Okay.
Spruce Plains Detachment stats. Okay.
Yep, I sent
Information.
those all out, yep.
Municipal Relations 23 budget.
Yeah, they've passed their budget now, I think. Yeah, this is the Spruce Plains attachment,
You're getting more money?
yeah, they're, hopefully. I was trying to find where my correspondence went, or did I just have it right here? Must have left that. Anyway,
Some
they,
papers.
hey, well, I know it's somewhere. Oh, here it is. I don't think I scanned it in.
Information
Yeah, it's right
anyway,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, so they've now passed the 2023 budget and they've, well, as you can see, there's several pages. But they're providing, let me just see here. Attachment A. Yeah, so they're enhancing the municipal operating grant, which it's shown, actually we should be getting that money right away. They're doing lots of transit operation, or lots of transit projects. And the Sustainable Communities grant that they have been giving out, that's gonna be ongoing. They do the basket funding, they've been doing that ongoing thing for our operating, but they're just, at least so basically this operating grant, they haven't given municipalities an increase for a long time, and they have been making promises for the past, so they have actually followed through on that, which is nice. I'll send this out, I didn't scan it in yet, because it kind of came last minute. And, yeah. They've got the mobility disadvantaged transportation program again, right,
Yeah.
so that's another thing. Yeah,
Okay,
I can send that out though, sorry, I didn't do that yet.
round the table. Brad,
Me first, okay. Basically, Brookdale Community Club, they got a issue with their brine pump. Now, this is because of 2 years no service, like no circulation, there was poor maintenance. So they're proposing, and it's gonna send to you, Trish, today.
Okay,
I was talking to Kelly Evans yesterday and Eddie Long, who's on the committee.
okay,
And there's gonna be a quote
okay,
sent to you today from Bob Hawken.
okay,
And basically, the brine pump and the compressor, the seal's gotta be done, I think they say. But the header, which is the walkway and it's been, when we pull that header off, and that was steel, and it's losing. So we gotta replace that whole header with stainless steel. And then, once we got the header off, we gotta flush those lines, because it's just like artery, it's a heart. And once those lines are all flushed, then the new header puts on, new brine pump, and it's good to go.
okay.
Okay, they wanna apply for a grant.
So do they want to use their reserve money for that? I think that's probably what we would do. Or
Yeah.
do they want us to give, so they've asked, so Brookdale receives $47,000, they've asked that again for this year? So
Right.
do they want an increase on the grant that we've given them, or do they want that money that the quote is gonna be coming in out of their reserve?
Basically, their understanding there's a grant possibly available,
Oh, okay.
No, is there not?
Yes and no. I'll have to, so they're not applying for the grant, do they want me to apply for it? I'm just.
Well, they're just wondering the proper channels.
Oh, I
Should I
see.
go through
Okay.
you?
I would wonder if they're doing, like, if they have like a rec funding, but they're using that general rec reserve. Because we've kind of told the subboards that sometimes if there's like unknown big things come up, to apply
Oh, I
to
see.
that, right?
That was just talk.
Yeah,
That was never,
I was, if it had been told to them kind of at different meetings, perhaps that's what
Maybe,
the
yeah.
impression they had.
We can decide, look, if they
Yeah.
send that to me though, like, it's a council decision on what we give them, or how we fund that, I guess, too, so.
So I just
Okay.
presented
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And grant, they can apply to Crow, Manitoba.
Yes.
Like
There's
they-
other grants out there.
Yeah, there's other grants, now they'll get they could get a,
Package.
well, something, like it won't be nearly as much as you would think, but
Yeah.
they got like 300 growing
How much
kids in
have
the
they got in
province.
their own reserves, do you know offhand?
I'll know that later on when I
Yeah.
when my
Okay, don't worry
budget.
about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've got lots in the reserve, but,
I know that, but
Yeah.
if they can get free money, why wouldn't you?
oh, absolutely, yeah, but the reserves are there to do something like this too, right? So, I mean, unknown expenses happen,
Like, I didn't
so.
even know that Curl, Manitoba.
No, and that's good, there,
Yeah,
got
so
Robbie
we
here
got
now.
Rob here. Hey, man, Rob.
Well,
More grant?
yeah,
Just looking down.
You had
I had
the
my note sheet.
big mixed bond scale this weekend.
Oh, yeah, Brookdale, it was just tremendous. They've had two major events with the poker derby, which is going to get bigger next year. And basically, the mixed bond scale, they had 20 rinks, 11 hockey teams, Big Belly Wolves won hockey. Unfortunately, I don't, well, yeah, Jakubowski's won
Yeah.
curling.
Or-
And
Yeah.
I was working the bar Saturday afternoon. When I woke up Monday morning, my arms were sore. Like that, eh? Like, it was phenomenal. I told Bert that maybe we should phone break security for him to, because.
Rid all the cash.
Yeah, and everybody had a great time. We had Garth Christensen volunteered his services, and there was no DUIs. Everybody was bused to their Carberry. There was
That's good.
another bus went to Nepal. Rodney Grainer drove the bus. A loaded bus, you can go through a pile of snow.
Yeah.
Everyone had a ball. And the kids, you should have seen the kids' games they had set up. It was just tremendous. There was darts flying, there was bags flying, there was girls chasing boys, screaming, as long as no one really cared, you know. It was a good event.
That's good.
Okay, anything else?
No, it's good.
Jaren,
No, I haven't got anything this month.
Harold,
Oh, well, I see the one thing I was gonna bring up about has already been taken care of, the
Compost?
compost, yes. The other thing I was gonna bring up is, would this council consider a second scholarship at the high school for somebody going into the nursing field? Because with the shortage of nurses here, I think we should be trying something to encourage more people to study nursing.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if we would be able to do that through the health committee.
The health action?
Yeah.
Yeah. When is the next meeting, do you know?
I'm not sure, I haven't heard.
No, that came to mind too when it was talking about the
Yeah.
why not.
Do we have, maybe I'm not sure on this, but,
Yeah,
yeah, you go ahead.
I presented, I was at the last Health
Yeah.
Action Committee. Basically, there was lots of proposals going on. Basically, they're sending letters out to, not emails, letters, and to all, for Canadian doctors, because basically a resident doctor, you has to have a Canadian doctor for, because there's different, as far as nurses, we've got 200 Filipino
You know, right?
coming to the RHA. And basically, Nepal is gonna be a hub, like that's, the debate going on now is emergency out of Carberry. it might just become attachment repair, either to NEPA or Brandon. Like, if someone on the highway, like they need to, or that means someone jumps in to go to either or. As far as nursing, I think Harold's on to something, because if we don't have strings attached to this grant, and at least when they're done graduation, maybe there should be a string that they have to come back for possibly.
Actually, the health committee has already sponsored nurses, and they ran into difficulty with the Fremont Health because they were supposed to come back to Carberry, but
They didn't,
they couldn't get in
yeah.
because they were using all the, what they call them, agency nurses.
Yeah.
So the person they had got caught, they asked her to pay it back because she wasn't coming back to Carberry, but at the same time, we couldn't blame her because she
weren't
couldn't get in, weren't allowed.
There's lots of can'ts in that, you know, like Carol's made a good point, because there's bureaucratic entanglement that's gotta be sorted out.
So is that something that you want to, like, you want the municipality to provide a scholarship for nursing from the municipality, or do you want that it to come from the health action?
Well, it's something from the municipality, we could do it either through the health board, or we could do it ourselves, it's just, we are so short on nurses. Any health care,
So-
like I would like to see nurses or
Even
lab
nurse
technicians.
or even like a ambulance, like.
Yeah, paramedics, we're short of them.
Robbie?
How about a healthcare scholarship?
Right.
I can't believe that, like nurses, I guess if the scholarship was set up that way, but I can't believe you made them pay it back. A nurse is a nurse and it helps somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that committee or however would
It's still
have had to
somebody
pay that
local
back.
that went and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it matters where. like,
No, I
it's
can't
meant
believe
for-
that they made her pay it back.
I know.
That's crazy.
You never know, like.
But
a couple years
people
you might
want
get
to
back
have them
town.
working back in their community, but
Yeah,
the payback.
Yeah, like, yeah, I get that, which
The whole
would be
province
awesome to
needs
fill this
more
whole
nurses.
hospital with Carberry kids,
More the
but
better.
that's not ever gonna happen.
But it was bureaucratic nightmare, it wasn't her fault.
No, absolutely, that's what I'm saying, like, but, so, like, these two scholarships we have now, what's,
There's no stipulation.
There's no
To further
stipulation.
their-
Further
They have to
education.
for their
further
education, so is schooling not an
And
education?
they
Or
don't
is
get
nursing not
their-
an education?
yeah.
It is,
Well,
they can
that
apply
can
for
That's
it.
what I
Yeah.
mean, if we give a specific, that's what I was gonna ask, is like, you're already giving $1,000 scholarship for each collegiate for furthering
That's right.
education, so education is pretty broad, like you can,
That could almost fall under this.
Well, we're
Yeah.
keyholing, I guess, the taxpayers' money to one job.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, isn't
Which-
there, sorry, Rob,
Yeah.
to cut you off, but isn't there a committee at the school that chooses who wins the scholarships?
Yeah.
yeah.
We have to make the designation.
We could say like weighted towards healthcare. or something.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're on
That's a very
the,
good
well,
point.
If there's nobody going into healthcare, well, somebody else.
yeah,
will.
so it just says here, the
Somebody's
student
going
must
into
meet the
healthcare,
following
maybe they get more
criteria.
points.
They must be a resident of the municipality of North Cypress-Langford, display excellent leadership and citizenship, continuing on to higher education.
Or we
You and I
could
are
go like
all
Harold's
for it.
finding
I know.
$500, you know, like, for, we can discuss that too, maybe just have two.
I think you just stick with one,
Okay.
But the wording, like weighted towards healthcare.
but we can specify it this year to go in towards healthcare, that's
Yeah,
fine too.
Preferably.
yeah.
Okay.
You can only
Yeah.
make a.
You can't win them all, no.
Or not.
Well, no, it just, I wish, like, the best thing to do would be to make another scholarship, weighted exactly to
That would
that.
probably
But
be with the town and through the health action.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be the best way to do this, in my eyes.
It is kind of,
Because you
We as
keep
a
on,
municipality gotta be careful, because we got two towns in
yes,
yeah.
the
yes.
municipality
Yeah.
too.
So we're talking 2 scholarships in both universities again,
Yeah.
or both towns.
And it's right
So
here.
then we have to make it 2, not 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it is kind of
Yeah,
a little backwards to exclude ag degrees from a
Yes.
girls scholarship.
well, we're a rural community, right?
Yeah.
Like, our Oregon's bigger than
Yeah.
Carberry.
mhm.
Yeah.
The only suggestion I could make is like the health committee is half town, half.
Yeah.
Do one from there.
We do make a scholarship and
Yeah.
ask the town to pay half it, and then it's just
Yeah.
the town of Carver.
So it'd be 1,000.
Yeah.
So, like, I went to the graduation a few years ago, and they have different scholarships already for nursing.
Yeah,
So where do they come from? We don't know that.
not sure.
Some are private, some are
Yeah.
provincial,
Yeah,
some
some
are
Yeah, okay.
funded.
So like, okay, like, are we gonna be able to pull off a second set of scholarships here before grad? If we go into town, like, we
Yeah,
we
like
have time to get it done, or
Grad
should,
is June, when is?
or should, could we just, could
Oh,
we
yeah.
stipulate
Yeah.
our 2 scholarships as we got set up, weighted toward nursing?
I don't,
Like,
I like it doing just a general one there. If you're gonna do a nursing one, I would
Okay,
do
no,
a
like,
separate.
I don't
My
really
own
get a second
opinion.
one this year, because I think the town
Right.
budget's basically done.
yeah, that's what
I
I
don't
know.
think that really matters though, because
Yeah.
all of our grants are
Like,
kind of pooled,
Right.
and we set it,
yeah.
if we have unexpected things that we wanna fund, that's part of that grant too, so.
Well, I would-
We got off our game.
Like, I would love to see a second one.
Mm-hmm.
I just, if we can pull it off, awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we can get the town,
So do you want me to just bring that up at the next joint?
I,
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, let's just bring it up for further
But
discussion.
like I say, the same thing.
Yeah.
Like if you do $1,000 one for Carberry,
that you need one.
and it's half here and half them, then we need to do 500 up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Or it's
No, but I-
available to all the Carberry one's available to residents, can be applied for by residents of North Cypress-Langford.
Yeah, but they don't go to school down here.
But they, that might be a job in Nipah, so that's, we just.
But I would still suggest 1,000 each place. Like,
Oh,
we
yeah,
talked about
I
500 being
think
too
it- I
If
short.
think
they
that's
have
a
a heart
good thing
attack
to
in
do.
Nipah, and I'm not coming to Carver,
No,
you know, like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
Thing
saying?
is, if we do it for just, North Cypress residents in Carberry, even if it's the North Cypress residents graduating in Nipawak,
same
do
thing.
it up there,
Yeah.
same scholarship. Yeah, do it up there instead of
Yeah.
Carberry.
And you North Cypress
Yep.
people,
But you could get 2 people in, not just one.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you
cool.
gotta go.
I think I go with that.
We'll
Yeah,
go.
gotta pee.
Carry on your-
I'm like, okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
I will bring that up to the joint committee. I'm like,
Hey, Carol, you got anything
waiting.
else, or no?
No, I'm done.
Robbie?
That's
enough.
I think everybody had a stupid pill yesterday in the storm. I'm not sure what was going on with the calls I got. I haven't had a call about plowing all winter, and all of a sudden yesterday it was,
Yeah, counselors in the ditch.
well, I wasn't in the ditch. I was stuck in my barnyard. No, but I mean, I don't know what was going on yesterday, but anyway, I took a drive finally today, and it was, there were lots, plows everywhere, so.
People shouldn't be out when they're, well,
So
people are out when
back to
they shouldn't be, I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
We had to get to church.
Anything else, Robbie?
True.
No,
My
Malcolm?
son wouldn't have slept in.
Just thanks to the guys for getting out there on the weekend and plowing the roads.
Yeah.
Everyone's very happy about that. Wellwood Rec had a meeting there, and they regrets to kind of cancel the bond spiel, but due to the one boys, you know, they had helped at best. The snowmobile, the relic run went over well. I think they said they had upwards of 95 hands,
That's awesome.
with more than that, about 100 sleds plus. They said there's a couple of other events going on in the area, like within 60 miles, that probably pulled some people away. But they were quite happy with it, and they had a good turnout, they made some money on it. And hopefully they're moving ahead, they're sending out tenders for redoing the other wall of the building. So they may be asking for some of their funds from the reserve for that.
Okay, perfect.
Other than that,
Dallas?
That was 3 years later, excellent. I was just gonna say thanks to the guys for coming out, yesterday, and then, mass registration is
This week?
for all of our rec activities.
14th to 15th,
14 and 15?
14th, 15th.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking this one.
Other than that, I'm good.
Okay,
You got anything?
you're,
You want me to go first? I haven't really got a whole pile to say either, for that matter, other than thanks to all the staff for yesterday and after the show. And everything going along, keep it going, thank you.
I just had that shelter belt, discussion with Central Assiniboine. I think that we should be, making that available for all resident, like both sides. And code of conduct training reminder. You have to complete that within 6 months. So, and yeah, there's training available at the link, I can resend it out if you don't have it. And, yeah, just speaking of the rec, funding, I'll talk about that more in budget. But there's a few things that I would like to address with how we're funding rec, and lots of our budget, actually big portion of our budget is recreation, and it's definitely being noticed by municipal relations, and anyway, I have to kind of get that sorted out, because it's something we need to just be cautious of. We spend a lot of money for recreation, and it's not a bad thing, but I have been asked by municipal relations a few times when they come out and do the reviews, like what we're exactly giving the money for, and do we have a policy and that sort of thing, and we did have that bylaw in place 3 years ago, that they actually implemented, and they liked that, and they're questioning why we removed it, and so anyway, that's more discussion, but we'll talk about that in budget time, so. And our budget meeting is, hopefully soon.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah,
You in camera now, or you
Yeah.
want to break?
no, we'll go in camera.
Resolution, what's this, 62 or 63 now?
I don't even know. 64.
64.
Yeah.
Resolution 64, 2023, be it resolved that council as committee of the whole move into in-camera to discuss personnel matters. Can we vote, please?
Sure.
Seconder,
No.
all in favor? Opposed? Carried.